Hawthorn?
Yeah, there is. I mean, firstly, I like, Gold Coast have had to been up there for the last couple of weeks, participating in these rounds. But I love the Hawks going up earlier and really in investing in the community and indulging in the culture of the Indigenous community up there in Darwin, having played up there a couple of times and certainly done some community camps up there. It's, they're fantastic people and gives you a great insight and meaning to the round, which is Sir Doug Nicholls' round.
How much the conditions affect the football?
I think if the players warming up right now, they would feel like it's dry. But as soon as you get perspiration and your jumper starts to hold in the sweat, then it becomes a really slippery game. So you usually see the first 5 minutes would be relatively dry, but as soon as that sweat starts to sit in, that's when it looks to be a little bit dewy, and when your fundamentals of the game have to be on.
Josh Weddle debuted round 7 2023, has not missed a game since. And we're having a look at the toss of the coin out in the middle. Carl Amon and James Sicily there alongside Jeffrey, Long, Roses and Rioli.
Match day, here's the call. And it's the Gold Coast Suns, so yep, your call.
So the Suns win the toss. Whittle, where are you playing in tonight?
He's had no luck, James Sicily, in the coin toss. I mean, he's always been the swingman. They've got a few in their lineup, Sicily being one, Whittle being the other. But I think what they saw last week, late in the game against Melbourne, might suggest that they play him 40. He is that X factor. He gives them something in the air. When you talk about the conditions, it will be slippery. So to get the ball going forward as quick as you possibly can, you need to have targets down there that are reliable. So I think Josh Whittle becomes that second tour down there with the third tour with Chol, Kel Shadir and Josh Whittle.
Ben Long playing game 119, played his junior footy for St Mary's in the NTFL. He's been a good forward.
Yeah, he has, and Damien Hardwick spoke in the pre-game to the crew about how he sort of wishes he played him a little bit in that role previously. So playing on your home ground is where you've grown up and played footy is one of the really special things that Darwin provides. The St Mary's boys, obviously Daniel Rioli and Ben Long, both big family names from the AFL world up there in the NT, and they just love going out there. And he's been an extraordinary forward this year, just getting the job done. He's the heart and soul of the Gold Coast Football Club, and love seeing him out there.
So over 12,500 Howie seating capacity at Marara Stadium, or TIO Stadium as it's now known, but plenty of standing room as well. This is fourth versus third Thursday night football on Fox Footy, and it's going to be Witts and Reeves, who was very good in the VFL last week. Newcomb just paddled it out towards Ward. It's going to be the initial free kick.
That's probably the easiest decision the umpires will make tonight.
So Anderson, out he goes to Noble. The second AFL club, of course, kicks inside 50, and an easy cut-off from Scrimshaw.
Yeah, big in Scrimshaw, out with concussion last week, but he's a bit of a general down back for them along with Sicily.
Scrimshaw, long he goes to Eamon. Plenty of time along the wing on the outer side. They can build from here. Of course, Chol working in concert with Watson down in the forward line for the Hawks. As that kick inboard towards Watson wasn't convincing enough, makes the Wizard work a little. And then over the top, McDonald. And it's going to be a holding the ball decision. So Rao's going to come up with it.
McDonald swallowed the two subs tonight. Anderson working deep in his back line. Closey goes back in the direction of Anderson. Now Hewland forced to go up and under to a contest. Centre wing. And that's a good sight for the Hawks. Skipper Sicily taking a strong mark early.
Goes inboard.
And hitting the kick too. You need early confidence in the game. So I know it was a relatively easy kick to a 45 in Josh Ward, but they're the ones you need to gain confidence from.
Ward's kick, there's plenty of Suns around it here. Collins with the defensive grab. We talked about the conditions, Geordie and Jack, but it's a ground where we've seen some high scores. If it's a high-scoring game tonight, which team does that suit?
Look, I think it suits the Gold Coast Suns if it's a high-scoring game tonight. They've been more accustomed to playing in games like that and have scored highly this year. And their ability to get it from this part of the ground to their own forward line is critically important.
Well, you've got the number one scoring side in the competition against number 4. So, if it does play into that way, I think both sides feel comfortable with offensive threats.
Very good contested mark there from Waldry Skies. One in the King direction, of course. King leading the Coleman at the moment on 27. He's going to get an early opportunity.
Yeah, he's within range.
Down the gauntlet last week.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we can see early on this game is both sides really wanting to go long and not really overuse the hand pass. We've spoken about the conditions, how it can be quite dewy, but both sides really keen and confident to go to long targets.
So sitting on 27 at the moment for the campaign, Ben King. First set shot at goal. It's starting left. It's slowly coming right. It's not going to quite make the distance, but it's the first score for the Gold Coast Suns.
Yeah, and that long style of game that you may see tonight is because it is like a wet weather game. The ball is slippery. As a defence, you must protect the back of every single contest. Don't let the ball get out the back and let the opposition smalls run onto it.
Aim on to reset. It was pretty central. Covers about 60 metres. Gillivan gets front position. Noble's disappointed. He got off his man. Gillivan plays on immediately. Just places a long ball. Really effective. Into the hands of Newcomb. He's got the runner. Elected not to go by hand to battle. Goes back and across. Needs to be pinpoint back to where it started with Gillivan.
You can see there the movement of the forwards. Not much space to move into with Geelong Gold Coast Spares just flooding back.
Free kicked away the Hawks. And Dylan Moore will pretty much line up directly in front.
Well, it was patient ball movement and build-up. They didn't want to go long into the spares for the Gold Coast Suns. And Dylan Moore was the player that got the free kick in the end for too high.
9 goals for the season. The only Hawk in the All-Australian team last year. For the first goal of the evening, the Hawks are on the board.
So it was really patient ball movement, wasn't it? It looked like a set play from the kick-in. I think Hawthorn traditionally this year have gone to the left. They went to the right. It's a really up and under kick, and the free kick.
The trailing arm, Bodie Ulam was the one deep there. You can see on Dylan Moore, and just caught him a little bit over the shoulder, and won't kick many easier than that, Louis, will you?
But it's funny because usually the umpires watch the tools and where the tools come from, and if there's holding in that particular instance, Dylan Moore's not going to fly for the ball, so there's no need to give up the free kick. So Hawthorn in this instance went right. Great run by John Newcomb to provide that overlap run, but this is where I thought Gold Coast did a really good job to delay. Caused some confusion going inside forward 50. There we see the hold and the free kick.
Back in the middle. Humphrey, which couldn't quite pick it up from his shoelaces. Anderson out to Rowell, and then Rioli, who's going to spread it to the near side wing. Taken by Closey. Handball over the top. Gold Coast trying to get a little bit of run here. Rioli does a 360 and darts one towards forward 50. No mark taken. Quick work out to Rowell again. Spots Noble. Noble's kick towards the pocket. Couple of big tools down there. No mark taken. Long fighting for it with Fiorini. Ball up.
You can already see the additions over the summer there. Daniel Rioli and John Noble getting involved. That's a watch for the Hawthorn Football Club.
Yeah, you've got to come back onto it. If you block their run. So it's a big opportunity for Ned Reeves. He's been starved of opportunity, I think, since the ruck rule came in and the change of the ruck rule, and Lloyd Meek has certainly used that to his advantage. So as big as Lloyd Meek is out, it's a big opportunity for Ned Reeves.
Scrimshaw, good hands.
Good signs early, Bob, from Marbiol. Presenting well.
So a good start to the season as Child goes to a one-on-one. Powell stays down. Weddle applies the tackle. Fiorini on the overlap to Hewland. Now to Anderson. Looks inboard. Rioli is calling for it. He goes that way now. Hand passes a touch, Aaron. Opens the door for Ward. Rioli's good enough. Slippery ball. Chol, where the contested chain started. Fiorini pokes it forward. It'll work out nicely. Holman immediately goes inside 50. And Took Miller in game 200 will line up.
It's the other thing in a wet weather game or a game in Darwin is that as a forward you need to play in front and be ready for those little quick kicks, and the quick kick came out and the forward was ready, and then I love just turning around and finding someone 15 metres closer to goal. Game 200 for Took Miller. It's an important set shot.
The second Gold Coast Sun to achieve the milestone. 9 goals this season. He's been good. Forward. It's coming. And it just gets into Miller. What a way to start his double time with the opener for the Suns.
Looks like the goal umpire got flattened here, so they're going to have to review it. He didn't see it go through.
Yeah. Umpire believes it's a goal. Can you please check?
He's done well.
I was going to say, I'm not sure he believes it's a goal. It's lying face down in the turf.
Maybe the roar of the crowd. It's a good effort to...
No way in the world.
Review complete. Look at these angles. We can see a gap between the ball and the goalpost at all times. Decision on the scoreboard.
That's a good call by the umpire. This will be confirmed a goal. Terrific kick by Tuke Miller. I mean, 200 games, I think everyone, certainly inside the club but externally, has seen the way that he's gone about his football. Shows great leadership, fantastic work rate through games, and that's been shown. But you're right, the quick kick forward, so not messing around with the ball in and around the stoppage. And sometimes this is all you need, a short kick inside forward 50 to someone can make the distance. You don't see too many, when it's your 200th game, Jack, you don't see too many players calling for it when you mark the ball inside forward 50. Go back and have a set shot.
He's had a fantastic year this year, Tuke Miller. He's moved to the half-forward line. He's playing a really selfless, giving up the captaincy. And the Gold Coast Suns have evolved because Tuke Miller has stepped out of the middle and become the ultimate half-forward, the ultimate team player.
His best set of goals so far, 3 in round 4 of this year. So as Jack's outlined, that move has certainly brought about goals for Tuke. His best effort against Hawthorn was 2 in round 3, 2017. So this narrowly coming through was Miller. Rao loves the big run and the long kick towards Long, and has he been awarded a free kick? He has. Hardwick can't quite believe it and pleads his case.
Yeah, it's a big role like Hardwick playing on a big key forward.
Gold Coast.
This one's
got me back like that from jump on, supposed to do that.
I didn't see that one.
gone to Ben Long, and Damien Hardwick wants to play Ben Long as a tall because he believes that he's got aerial impact, and they've had the free kick here. Let's wrap the arms around.
So Long slams it through for the second goal. The Gold Coast playing in front of family and friends at the top end. Ben Long, his 16th goal for the year.
Yeah, the damage was done out of the centre bounce, was it? I mean, what you need to do as a midfielder is to not allow them to come out in the front with no defensive pressure whatsoever. So the centre bounce, the handball from Tuke Miller, set them on their way, and that's what happens when you go 6-6-6 forward the ball. A quick centre bounce clearance with no frontal pressure. The defenders panic. And, I mean, we call him Dimmer Hardwick, but Hardwick can complain all he wants. But this gives you a great view. You can just see here all the Hawthorn midfielders got past the contest, so there's no defensive sweeper. So when Rao gets the ball, he's able to go forward with no pressure in front, make a really good decision and get that ball deep. We know the Gold Coast like to get it deep to the hot spot, and Hardwick, unfortunately, that situation was behind.
Ben Long, what a season he's having coming into it today. Number 7 ranked player in the comp as McKenzie drives it deep forward. The fist comes from Collins. Good tackle from Newcomb. Number 7 just shows you the work he's doing. Long.
Yeah, well, I think it shows you the maturity of the players, and we sort of see this with Jesse Hogan at the moment. The last couple of years he's been unbelievable, but some people, you know, professionalism, playing in the wrong position, just mature late for whatever reason.
Centre clearance proving vital in the early stages. Battle does just that with Holman, who comes a second time. Really good tackle by Holman, gets his man, and he'll be the recipient of the free kick.
Couple of tough nuts there, Holman and Battle.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just getting smacked in the contest at the moment. Hawthorn, they can't get their hands on the ball. The Gold Coast Suns nearly double disposals, double contested possessions, just really controlling the game.
Anderson, but then the big kick to Walter, who's found some air.
That is a hang and a half there from Jed Walter. Just had the perfect sit. James Sicily, not a great long run up either, and was able to go vertically pretty easy. And that is a big boy mark from a man that the Suns have got a lot of high hopes for and hold in high regard. And you just got to finish them after this day. This is the big one for him.
So he's already made the show reel with a magnificent mark. Can he convert it with a goal from right on 50? It's looking okay off the boot and then just glances to the left at the last moment.
Just had a bit of a wobble about that set shot there, but by gosh, that was an extraordinary mark.
Eddie Betts right in front of you, that hanger.
Play on. Yours.
That was right in front of us, guys. He got up there really high. So, and it is getting a bit dewy down here, so just keep an eye on that. It's going to be, as Jack said, a bit of wet weather footy down here, so it'll be yardage.
Farini back to Noble. Pumps another one inside 50. There he is again. Long! Went two-handed, then one-handed, and he's had a fantastic start.
Yeah, really good forward craft there. I think I called it touched. Yeah, it looked like a good mark there, but the umpires called it touched off the boot, throw it up.
Weddle playing all around the ground. Long again. Shins the ball forward. Hawks have got the numbers. Sicily, who just had Jed Walter standing on his shoulders. He's not a small man either, Jed. And Jeffrey scissors the ball inside 50, a little bit too much on it. You don't get player weights these days, but I tell you what, he'd have to be 100 plus.
He's a specimen, isn't he?
Standing on your head like
What
that.
did you play at, Jack?
92, 93, bit more later on when maybe professionals went backwards a little bit, but 92.
Starting subs tonight, David Swallow for Gold Coast and Bailey McDonald for Hawthorn. Now that kick's been touched off the boot as well from Jath in the Chol direction. Didn't quite get there. Deere is there as well, and then over the top Ginnivan. And that was from the non-officiating umpire, at least the umpire that wasn't in the zone for a high one.
Thank you.
So Houlihan comes out with it. Houlihan out wider. Comes to Collins. And then Spears, one in the long direction, was cut off. Humphreys there, had such a good game last week. Runs inside 50. Onto the right. Bird is looking high and long. Bailey Humphrey. Kick 5 against the Cats in this match last year. And starts off with another one here. That's their third.
But you can see what Gold Coast are doing there, trying to take the ball around the Hawthorn defence, as every Hawthorn player had got back to protect. You've got to try and take risks like this, but it's so risky to kick the ball in here. But a bit of brilliance, individual brilliance here by Bailey Humphrey. That is an incredible finish from 50 metres, and it's gone well over the goal umpire's head there. And a fantastic goal. The Suns have got rolling at the moment. They're playing this forward half game. It's certainly the DNA that we've come to know from Damien Hardwick and the way the Suns are playing.
Oh, he's really emerging as a player, isn't he? I mean, he's putting together some really consistent games now. So if you speak about the midfield dominance they've got at the moment, he can play midfield, half forward, and just brute power. 50 metres, two-step.
There he is.
Fantastic goal.
Look at that. Your former teammate, Geordie. Four-time Premiership Hawk, Cyril Rioli in the stands.
Just, he was a good player. If you ever saw Cyril one out on the wing, you just kick it in his direction, Howie.
Well, his cousin Daniel's gone past him by 2 as the most games by Rioli. Cyril on 189.
Yeah, we would have loved to have seen a lot more of him.
Well, that's great because we heard that the Hawks had invited him to the game. Sam had invited him to the game and said, not sure whether we'll see him. So that's great to see Cyril at the footy. You wouldn't have played with too many better, Jordan. You played with some good players.
It's hard to split them, Howie, and I feel rude doing it, but I think at the end of the day, you're just really lucky to play with the players and the Indigenous players that we did.
Rioli and Franklin, you had a fair combo there.
Shawnee.
Amongst Shawnee and Bateman and more. As the Hawks driving forward, scooping it out the back is Deere. Deep ball forward, Watson went very early. Very early indeed did the Wizard, and he's penalised as a result.
Mark Williams would be disappointed if I didn't mention him, Howie.
Yes, absolutely.
I thought Watson jumped over him then.
Hewlands, kick along the wing.
Holding, Gold Coast.
Free kick.
Yeah, there's been a few of these free kicks already. Playing in front, Gold Coast, Jack spoke about in these conditions. Hawthorn just struggling with that at the moment.
It's against Battle and now Closey. Receiving it from Noble. Closey. Kick tight ropes the boundary line. Real pack of them. Big fist from Reeves. To ground it goes. Rowell tried to kick it off the deck, then gains a possession. Spat out to Noble. Quick wobbly one off the boot. Hawks have the numbers here. They should mark, and they do. Morrison.
So the Hawks with the opener and then the Suns with the next three. On a 14-point margin. Moore is the goal scorer for the Hawks. Hugs the boundary line.
So the Suns working hard on defence here.
Newcomb's got a couple of Hawks to select from. In some ways they got in each other's way. Morrison, McKenzie, can see that glove back from the hand issue. A couple of weeks out. Now the Suns turn it round to Flanders. It's a pretty open forward line. Bangs into the pocket. And King's got a little bit of space on Barris.
Yeah, good build up there. The turnover happened. Hawthorn actually had the outnumber where the turnover did happen, but then the Suns just took it straight back through them there. And a really good kick inside 50 from Flanders. Found Ben King on his own, but still needed to put it at the right spot as the Hawthorn player was coming up to him.
27 goals for the season. Already had one attempt this evening, has Ben. To make it 4 in a row for the Gold Coast Suns. Good looking finish. Holds its line. And the Suns skip away.
Oh, their front half game, we've spoken about their front half game and how it's been a really strong part of their DNA, this Gold Coast Suns, and it's on show again tonight. Morrison, it was a great kick by Morrison to then go wide and then to follow up, but it's the mistake that this Gold Coast Suns sweat on, and the ability to turn a mistake into a really quick transition. So you see there, just the fumble, the pressure around the ball, and then the ability to take it forward. So that kick right there to find a mark, to feed her, and then he's able to assess where we go. And you see there Ben King, because Hardwick had to go up because there was an outnumber, King just gets in behind him, makes really good position, and then all you need is someone further up the field to witness that. Barras was a little bit slow to roll over, but once again, front half turnover.
Worrying signs for Hawthorn. 7 players yet to touch the footy out there, Mark Howard.
It's been a happy hunting ground, this ground for the Gold Coast, winning their last 7, 4 of those victories over 60 points. Rao, kick along the shoelaces. And then some lovely little work across the body from Roses, grabbed by Eamon. And the clearing kick's a good one, finding Sicily. McGuinness. Watson had to be good and clever, and he got it out to Ginnivan somehow. Has to be fast, Ginnivan. Looks centre field. Inside 50, hoping for McDonald. Off hands came to Morrison. Morrison's left foot. Player down in the background. And the Gold Coast can mop up here. It's in the hands of Fiorini.
So most of the attacking's been done wide at the moment from both football clubs. Corridor protection is paramount. The Suns are just doing it better around the outside at the moment.
I mean, their defence is so stable, isn't it, at the moment? Hawthorn just can't find an avenue through. That's why they're being forced wide.
Noble having a fine season. Him and Rioli have really changed the exits out of defence for the Suns this year. 60-metre ball forward. Barris, good strong mark in the circumstances.
Yeah, worked his way to the front.
There's a challenge for Jed Walter as well, playing against a premiership defender and a man that's been consistent for the West Coast Eagles. Obviously his first year at Hawthorn now. He's a very good defender, so it challenges the young forward.
Battle. Scrimshaw, suspension and a couple of concussions have cost him games in 25 so far. Tries to pierce the ball, does well. D'Ambrosio in game 50 goes inside again, though Collins just steams out.
He just reads the ball so well, doesn't he? Weddle just got caught behind. I think that's the difference with the Gold Coast Suns forward in front, Hawthorn forwards, because they've limited experience down there, and Josh Weddle, they just get caught behind.
Coughed it up here, Watson coming through. Did he get a high one? He did.
It's nearly a professional foul, I think, there from John Noble. He knew that Watson had nearly handballed it to himself to run back on. You won't have the distance from here, so you've got to stay on high alert. The Gold Coast defence.
You see that, I mean, the numbers behind the ball, you can see down there. So
hero movement as well.
So no real leads to speak of. Watson forced to pop it up in the middle of the ground. No mark taken. Newcomb just out to walk, or he's Gone without it. McDonald out to Ginnivan. A sky ball progresses at about 20 metres. Can someone mark it? Newland at the front of the pack couldn't. Still bobbles out. Rioli's hands quick. And it's going to be Joseph looking for Rao over his head. Fighting for it, Hardwick wins the football. Hawks get another chance. Now can Watson control it? Almost hit him in the face. Goes backwards. Morrison, gang tackle. Got to kick away somehow. And now it's Ward onto the left boot. Wobbly one. Is it going to be good enough to centre half forward? Walker's given away a free kick to Anderson.
Yeah, tough by Noah Anderson there. Knew he had to go. There's no question over whether Noah Anderson's going to go, but that was critical.
There's just no way through, is there? I mean, if you're looking from a Hawthorn point of view, trying to enter into their forward 50, Gold Coast at the moment, controlling dangerous space, really good pressure on the ball, forcing Hawthorn into mistakes.
Andrew, long ball to the outer side, Jaff pushed underneath it.
To be fair, Louis, I don't think we've seen much movement from the Hawthorn forwards. You can see Damien Hardwick in the coach's box there, and looks like he's trying to get a message down to the bench and not happy with the interaction he's receiving on the other bit. On the mobile phone even.
It's a big communication issue up there at the moment. Miller has already kicked a goal in game number 200. It's a target in Flanders. Back to Humphrey, just off the instep. Aim and clean bowl by it. Falls down Ainsworth, right to the top of the square. It's another one for the Gold Coast Suns. 5 in a row.
Well, they're quickly realising, Hawthorn, if you fumble, make a mistake, let the ball behind, this Gold Coast Suns side will punish you. You just see there the sweat, so that is contributing to the slippery conditions, and Gold Coast at the moment have just been able to adapt a lot quicker than what Hawthorn have been. Just couldn't get back in numbers to help defend. On this occasion, it's Amon that just went for the ball, was in really good position, but then unfortunately fumbled and left the door open to the Gold Coast Suns. Terrific finish around the corner.
Not sure the Josh Reynolds experiments work so far. 0 touches from him, and you want to see him playing chaos football. That's the sort of player that is a chaos player.
So how long do you stay with it?
Look, I think it's something that Mitchell will persist with at least a quarter time, and maybe for the first half. You don't just give him a quarter down there to try and find it. It takes a little bit of time to play forward sometimes when you haven't played there very often in your career.
Warple and Morrison. Morrison's ball to centre half forward, scooped out by Ginnivan. D'Ambrosio trying to run onto it. He grabbed Fiorini in the process. Noble went in hard, got the handball out, grabbed by Wards. Round the body he goes. No mark taken by Chol. Watson's there. Good footy to be won here. It's a hot football at the moment. Collins punched it out in the danger zone. Powell, Noble, McAndrew. He's grabbed by Moore. And the umpire wants it.
Yeah, good by McAndrew there. It knew that there was pressure on handball. Someone has to take the contest and just take the tack. And it was Mac's turn to go. Didn't cough it up. Didn't give an easy giveaway.
Hawks without the pressure from the Gold Coast Suns the last 10 minutes.
Hawks with the opener. Suns have replied with the next 5. Rao. D'Ambrosio off instep. He's got that Dangerfield looking about him at the moment that you just can't tackle him.
He looks at you and just puts on the afterburners. And
what does that mean, Louis?
I don't know.
A dumpling, was it?
The food they're having afterwards or something? Or?
I think it's a bowl of noodles, but no, not too sure what that means. Maybe increase your pressure.
What has that got to do with noodles, Geordie?
Well, just their pressure's low. I just
still don't know what that's got to
recognise
do with
that.
So the Suns driving forward again. Battle under pressure. The Scrimshaw on the right.
Have to generate here, Hawthorn.
Hardwick. Just to Ward. To go back in on the 45.
This is the feature of the Gold Coast game. So Hawthorn switched the ball. Already the Gold Coast Suns are up in their face and have forced delay. So you need to reassess how you want to move the ball. Do you want to switch it and try and use the open side, or do you just want to just go straight line, back into congestion, make it a bit of a more of a contested game from a Hawthorn ball movement point of view?
Jordan Lewis, Jack Revolt Thursday night footy alongside Matt Hill, Eddie Betts and Sean Burgoyne. Inside 50, Ginnivan, Weddle there again. Watson's been lively. Eddie Betts is on the boundary. Eddie.
Guys, when you speak about the pressure, Gold Coast, it's their higher forwards, the work rate. They're gritting up the ground. Humphreys, Flanders, Millers, gaining the dangerous space, and then they're just punishing you on the way back.
Fourth against third here. Marara Stadium tonight. Gold Coast coming in 6-2 with the game in hand. Hawks 7-2. Moore, who's been the goal scorer for the Hawks so far.
I think it's best to get it home from here. See, King was pretty quick onto Carl Amon, who's a prodigious long kick here. Sicily sneaking up behind.
So he's going to have to commit himself from 52, and as he sinks his boot into it, he misses everything.
But I think you're right in what you were saying before, Jack. No movement. So you need movement. One, to engage the opposition, so something might pop up late for Dylan Moore to use inside the forward 50. But everyone had just conceded that Dylan Moore was having a set shot.
You're also
that was probably the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Powell. Great crowd in the Morris Rioli stand. That's what you're looking back into now. King. Here's the man that just wants to break tackles and does it well. Rao, Flanders, Suns moving along the wing, standing underneath it, copying it from both sides with Sicily. Amon, back by hand to Newcomb. Doesn't have much room to move. Looks for Scrimshaw, really good in the air. That's a prime example. Scrimshaw plays on, bit of forward movement for the first time for the Hawks. Ginnivan been drifting up the ground, goes inside 50, it's wide, and Watson has been the most lively forward so far inside 50 for the Brown and Gold.
I think, surprise, surprise, he's the one that's been on the move for them, and that's his game. We know that Nick Watson's a fantastic chase forward, but also his ability to get out on the lead. He's got key forward tendencies with the way he does lead for the ball. Obviously not big in stature. It's an important kick for him.
25 goals last year, 14 from his 9 matches this season. Hawks desperately need a goal from a tight angle. Pretty good looking effort from Watson. It's a fine effort. The Hawks get their second. Crowd enjoys the work of the Wizard.
Incredible finish from the Wizard. It's a really difficult thing to do, kicking a goal from the boundary line like that. The modern day player would go the check side, potentially run around a little bit, but stuck in his right foot in that pocket there. He's the only one that's looked lively in terms of hitting the scoreboard and taking marks inside 50, and he finished truly there. That was a great finish from the boundary line.
I love that shot, Jack, of Chol and Watson showing that our game is for any shape or size.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, he started his career and his goal kicking was a little bit skew whiff, and you can just see here, just a little double lead there. The change of direction at the last second. I think the kick had a fair bit to do with it as well, coming from the forward partner in Ginnivan. It actually puts it into the right spot at the right time. The dummy lead to set up their player and then come back out to the outside.
Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's going to be a free kick to the Gold Coast here.
I think live that looks like a throw, but players are so good at doing that these days.
High, long ball in the Walter direction. King at the back, can't quite manufacture something. And the punch was clever. Hawthorn can retreat. It's taken by Moore from Ward. Kick long along the wing. Chol at the front, Collins at the back. Eventually McGuinness got a hand to it and Collins rolls it out.
Yeah, so if you look closely at the Newcomb handball, it's not actually a throw, but you can see why the umpire pays it, because it looks like a throw, in real time. These players are so good at getting a fist on it late. Just seems like through that goal, Hawthorn have been energised.
So Moyle and Reeves, they nullify each other. Pinched by Rowell over the top. Can Miller run onto this? There's a whistle in the play, though.
Prohibited contact on Matt Rowell. That's it. Took your kick. Come back around.
You've heard it there, so it's upfield.
Stand.
Miller, game 200. A goal earlier, already a highlight. Oh! Long used a hawk as a step ladder, didn't work. Eamon just slams it on the boot as we head towards the end of the first quarter. Noble working hard, couldn't get hands to football. Miller scooped it out to Rowell, last couple of seconds. And the last kick inside 50 from Closey, and that is it. So it's a good start to the Gold Coast. They've won their last 7 games at TIO Stadium. 4 of them have been over 60 points. And they've started well here. They lead by 20. And don't forget tomorrow night, what a crucial game this is for both sides. Sydney and Carlton, if they to play finals. It's a big round 10 encounter Friday night football on Fox.
Hey, g'day folks. Happy Thursday. Yeah, that's right. It's Thursday night football. Can you believe it, here up at TIO Stadium there in Darwin? I'll tell you what, she's got to be pretty warm up there. Wowee, the Gold Coast Suns 5-2-32, the Hawks 2 goals straight 12. That is it, 20-point margin to the Suns. And I'll tell you what, this is why the Gold Coast Suns went into this game as hot favourites against Hawthorn today. I was looking at some of the stats. The last 5 times these teams have met, Gold Coast have absolutely spanked Hawthorn 4 times out of those 5. And Hawthorn, when they won 3 games ago, it was only by a small margin of 7 points. Tell you what, this is certainly a bogey side for Hawthorn, and it's certainly looking that way today. Gold Coast Suns look like they're just doing their job, doing it pretty comfortably out there. Hawks a little bit flat-sided, but not really much playing for each other. This is just not like the Hawthorn we saw last year. This looks like a totally different side. That's what I see in the opening quarter anyway. Tell you what, this continues. Hawthorn might be in a little bit of trouble, but hopefully the Hawks Sam Mitchell gets to his place and says, boys, come on, this is what we're going to do. Hey, shout out to a few people in the chat. Flashes Transport, how you going? 3B, how you doing? What's going on? Yeah, we're looking forward to a great weekend of footy. It should be absolute cracker. Ashley Weston, shouty. Yeah, this is a live game. This is played up at TIO Stadium in Darwin, second quarter, coming up in 3.5 minutes' time. Niprex, who you goes betting on? I'll tell you what, looking at those stats, 4 of the last 5, it's going to be hard to go past the Suns. But that being said, Hawthorn are about 259 to win this game. Tell you what, you wouldn't mind having a little bit on the Hawks. That's still great value, I think, because Hawthorn are a great side. It just depends whether some of the heat up in Darwin could affect Hawthorn, because the Gold Coast Suns are definitely better in the warmer weather. There's no doubt about that. Bianca, shouty. How you going? Good luck to you and the Hawks. I know you're a big Hawthorn supporter there. Game Board, the manager's in the house. Tina, Game Board, shouty. Hey, folks, don't forget, if you want to go and check out Game Board, go and check out her channel as well. She does a little bit of football and basketball. If you like basketball and that type of sport, PBA, NBA, all that type of stuff, get over to Game Board channel. She's just, that's Tina, our Tina Bim Bim. If you've seen the chat the last few times, that's her new channel, Game Board. Same with Addy G, Adrian Sports Channel. He covers the basketball as well. Shout out, thanks, 2 years anniversary. What do you mean, boo pies? You mean go pies. Shut up, go pies. Yeah. Wait pies, go pies. They're going to be good. Hey, I didn't get into the stats, but that's all right. Don't forget to vote. So far, 53% going for the Gold Coast Suns. Let's quickly, hey, I didn't get around to the ins and outs. For the Suns, Swallow and Moyle come in. Going out were Rogers and Graham. David Swallow was a sub, and Took Miller, milestone game, 200 for him for the Suns. For the Hawks, coming in was Barras, Grimshaw, Reeves, Mackenzie, Deer. Going out were Impey, Gunston, Bruce, Meek, Hustleweight. That's maybe why Hawthorn were at the underdog. Sub is Bailey McDonald, and of course, Massimo D'Ambrosio, 50-game milestone. Well done to you. Good stuff. There was just lineup. Hey, let's quickly have a look at the goal scorers for the opening quarter. Nick Watson, Dylan Moore for the Hawks. Took Miller, Ben Long, Ben King, Bailey Humphrey, Ben Ainsworth. Tell you what, a lot of Bens and Bs, and 3 Bens. 3 Bens. Well, there we go for the Gold Coast. Disposal getter on the ground at quarter time. John Noble, there we go. He's having a cracking season also for the Suns. Tops the table with 11. Matt Rowell on 10. Noah Anderson on 9. Carl Lamont, best there for the Hawks on 9 also. Jack Ginnivan on 7. There we go. Daniel Rowley up to 6. He'll want a big quarter up there, of course, in front of the Northern Territory crowd. Should be a ring-a-ding-ding game. I tell you what, it's a great atmosphere up there. It always is when they play these games up there. Good crowd. They did a little bit of dance and that before the game got underway. Tell you what, we should get back to the. I just wanted to roll down there so folks could have a look at the stats. We'll get back to that in a minute. Hey, let's get back down to the commentators, and then we're going to be in the bounce of the ball. Don't forget to vote, folks. Who you think's going to win, Gold Coast or Hawthorn? That's enough for me, just for the moment. Addy G, hey, go Pies, and we'll let everyone know the game's coming up this weekend, maybe at halftime. All right, let's get back down to the commentators before we head to the bounce of the ball for the second term, where it's the Gold Coast Suns by 20 points.
They're doing with the ball, and they're getting better entries inside 50, so that helps all the forwards. Hawthorn need to get their hands on the ball, so that way they're not defending the whole time. So something we're going to be watching in the second quarter.
Thank you very much, guys. Jace, how important was that Nick Watson goal late for the Hawks? Things were slipping away from them a bit.
Yeah, it was. As I mentioned, they kicked 5 in a row, Gold Coast. So to thread the needle from the boundary, really, really good. They've got to get busy in the midfield, the Hawks. So Rowell and Anderson and Miller are absolutely killing them. They're doing as they please. They've had some really good clearances, which is translating to that territory battle, playing the game in their forward half, Gold Coast. So a lot of work that I'd love to have listened to Sam Mitchell's quarter-time address.
All right, well, it is a 20-point margin at the moment. As we prepare for the second quarter, let's throw things back to our call team. Mark Howard, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Notice the Gold Coast Suns already out in the ground. The Hawks taking as long in the cool room as they possibly can.
Yeah, the little things up there, obviously access to the cool rooms because of the heat policy, which gives us the extra breaks as well, just to make sure the players are recouping during the breaks. But for me, Hawthorn, 14 inside 50s for Hawthorn. For only 2 scores, Louis, and that's a worrying sign, their cohesion between the midfield and the forwards. And I just think at the moment a bit of a lack of movement in their forward lines, not providing them with the right access to getting the most out of what has been 14 inside 50s is reasonable.
Yeah, I think if you look purely from a Hawthorn setup point of view, they wanted to keep their 6 forwards ahead of the ball, so they didn't really support the stoppage all that much in Q1. So I think because they were getting beaten soundly in contested possessions and clearances, and then also territory dominance, I would expect Hawthorn now to send up some half forwards. So you look at Ginnivan there, you look at Dylan Moore to support the stoppage, because unfortunately at the moment for Hawthorn the midfielders aren't getting it done.
Yeah, and it looks like Blake Hardwick's gone forward as well, so that change has been made. Obviously a high impact player in the forward line.
So the crowd at TIO Stadium loving every minute of it. It's the Gold Coast Suns leading by 20, with Ben Ainsworth, Tuke Miller, Bailey Humphrey, Ben Long and Ben King, all goal kickers in the first term. Marara Stadium, Larrakia country. 4th, playing 3rd. It's an important encounter. That ball going nowhere.
That's just unlucky. It's unlucky.
Free kick, holding the ball to Newcombe against Anderson.
Yeah, he came from nowhere.
Hardwick's going to get a free kick. Newcombe pushed over as he kicked it. So downfield free kick.
And the Suns were too happy with the tackle on Anderson there. Newcombe had hold of the arm, and here's the free kick. It was Tuke Miller sort of got Newcombe high. It's a fair down the field free kick, and Hardwick, who spent 30 seconds forward, gets his first shot.
So quickly things can change. He's kicking from just outside 50 on a still humid night. It's not a bad attempt. That's why they've pushed him forward. Goal umpire didn't flinch.
I think they've tried Sicily, as the swingman. They've tried, obviously, Josh Weddle tonight forward. Looks like that experiment is over. And Hardwick's been one over the journey that they have been able to play forward with effect, Louis, because he's a contest player. He always finds himself not getting beaten, or beaten very rarely, and that's either behind the ball or ahead of the ball. A bit fortuitous when you get a free kick out of the middle, but the finish from Hardwick there is fantastic. And loving this battle in the middle. Like the 2 balls going at it, Warple and Rowell, and certainly that's going to be a one to watch tonight too. And there's, see that free kick.
A little bit unlucky. Not much you can do when you're on the ground. One arm's pinned and you're
it's a bit stiff.
Trying to find the ball to your foot.
So the Hawks kick the last of the first and the first of the second. Warple on Witts. Miller overruns it. Mackenzie ripped off the footy. Newcomb just goes in, puts the head over it and grabs it out of the pack. Sends it forward. Powell got pressure from Ginnivan. Might have held the tackle too long.
Gold Coast, Will Powell.
Held on for too long there. Jack Ginnivan onto the jumper of Will Powell. Good signs though for Hawthorn. First two centre clearances going their way.
Eddie Betts on the boundary.
Yeah, we've got Josh Whittle just back on the half-back flank, so hopefully he can get into the game and get a few touches this quarter.
So Hardwick forward, and Eddie telling us Weddle is back. He's now in amongst the play.
Happy this side? Yep. Thanks,
Round 10 disposals in that first term, just trailing Noble on 11, Amon 9 and Ginnivan 7 for the Hawks. 7 games up in Darwin for the Suns, 7 wins. So unbeaten up there. Slips it back to Amon. Good fly from Powell. He's an athletic character, marks in front of Ginnivan.
Yeah, no, he's so good in the air. Will Powell.
You can't be there, Sam. Come back. You've got to be 5 metres back. 5 metres back.
Sam Collins was drawn in.
Creeping in to block them out on the mark.
Good hit again, though, from Powell.
Stand.
Just here, Gold Coast, prepared to be patient. They showed this game style in the first quarter. The last option will be go long inside their forward 50.
Fiorini does that on the left. Towards Witts, bursts through his hands. Amon, punching hand pass. The Hawks look to run it out of defence.
On the outer side of the ground, round the body and just intercepting with the fist Fiorini and out of play.
I think that's the evolution of the Gold Coast Suns. You've got the run and gun from half-back. Rioli and Noble have been key to that this year, but also the pro game is sort of trying to pick the Hawthorn defence apart, taking what they give you and the little gaps are opening up. The last option always is to bail out, and they've got a couple of key forwards down there too, so their game looks strong at the moment.
Reeves down to Newcomb, has Rail all over him. Get it out of the congestion. Jeffrey, Rioli, by hand, back to Fiorini, spreading it wider. Anderson dances out of a little bit of trouble. Got it to Swallow. Swallow eventually sinks the slipper into it. It's a high ball inside 50. No mark. Sicily at the fall of the ball. Tries to get it out to Weddle. He's got Roses there for company. Weddle off a steps. Not good enough. And Witts can bring it back into play.
Oh, it was a good mark by the big boy. The ball was on his toes. So once again, this will be the top of the goal square.
So the big man Witts back towards the pocket. Another opportunity for the Suns over the head of King Weddle. He is getting involved.
Yeah, I just think that he looks more settled down back, trailing a player in and then being aggressive from his man, and clearly a very good player in the air.
Amon getting plenty of it for the Hawks. Up to 12 possessions now. Hardwick in 2-on-1.
Gee, that was good recovery from Mac Andrew. In the middle of the ground to be able to spread wide, understand where Hawthorn wanted to move the ball. We see there Holman just coming back on after being patched up.
Saw Humphrey run on as well. There's been some general comparisons between him and a bloke you played with by the name of Mark.
Yeah, I think it was a weight on his shoulders actually. So now they just want him to play his own game. From a chat to a few of the inside the camp of the Gold Coast Suns, but by gosh, he's a good player.
Newcomb winds the ball forward. Andrew being held.
Started well this quarter, John Newcomb.
Advantage play to Powell by hands to Miller. Gathers it in. Everybody did stop up. I said, on we go. 2 Hawks coming back with Scrimshaw and Sicily holding a nice mark 1-on-1.
That's up front. Nick.
So I think even that decision by Sicily to go short to the boundary early on just suggests that they want to play a little bit safer at the moment, certainly in these conditions.
D'Ambrosio's kick to the congestion, went to the tallest man on the ground. Ginnivan out to Watson. What can Watson do from the pocket? Sells a bit of candy onto the left. Centering football. Almost Chol. And then grabbed by Powell, who's going to run away with it. Out to Flanders by hand. And they're out here at the Gold Coast. Spreading it out wide. Roses takes it on the run. And he was quick to get away from Weddle. They've got an opportunity here, the Gold Coast, to dart one through. Gee, they had their time. It was king in the end, but missed it to the right.
Could have settled. Had Jed Walter popped up in the last moment there, but the transition from the back here from the Gold Coast Suns, this is why they're brutal from D50, and why they're one of the best teams in the competition from getting it from one end to the other, and just needed to steady a little bit. There was multiple options there to find a mark inside 50.
Powell's had an explosive start to the second term. Nice strong hands in front. Newcomb back to Ginnivan. Racking up possessions tonight is Jack. He's had 9. Now Giath towards centre wing. Chol almost landed with him before he was ready for it. Spills out. Moore puts his head over the footy court.
It's a challenge for Mabior Chol. Like just getting the contest and providing that contest is at Eddie Betts at ground level.
If they get it in deep Hawthorn, the Wiz is one out with Mac Andrews down there, so if they get it on the floor, just watch out.
What a contest that'll be. The height and aerial work of Andrew against the speed and pace of Watson. Not heading in that direction at the moment. Noble puts Rioli under pressure. Great tackle coming in Scrimshaw. Turnover now. McDonald forced to kick in a hurry. Wobbles it inside 50. There is Watson. Out the back, Hardwick. Moore, slight fumble, has the speed to get away. Intelligent ball, was looking to centre, didn't quite get enough on it. And Collins, as he does, just destroys the football and anyone in his path.
That is a brave decision by Scrimshaw, considering how much ball has gone through and how much the Hawthorn defence has been retreating. That has gone against the pattern of play.
Hawks pressing again here. Reeves and also Witts. They nullify each other in the end and out of play.
Surely think they'd have to face the ball. The ruckman, they've been wrestling all night, those two. See, here gives you a good view. Gold Coast got a couple of spares, Mac Andrew being one and Humphrey being the other.
Yeah, got him, mate. Yeah.
Squeezing them through.
Heard the running commentary there from the umpire. Powell's coughs it up to Moore, who blazes away. He's already kicked one tonight. So as it stands, Gold Coast leading by 14.
The Suns by 20 at the first break. Hawthorn with the only goal of the term.
Yeah, I feel like Hawthorn have tightened their defence up and has been played a little bit more in a Hawthorn game style for this quarter.
Another possession for Powell. He doesn't waste it. It's a good long ball that.
Between two Hawthorn defenders.
It's Fiorini on the flank. Anderson under a bit of pressure, goes back to Fiorini. He's happy to go across the line.
You just got to be really careful from the Suns' point of view. I know we've spoken about the fact that they can probe the ball, short kicks up the ground, but in wet conditions, a little fumble like that is opportunity for the Hawthorn defence to then swarm and actually turn the ball over or get a stoppage here.
Yeah, it's just at the back of the screen, running in to stand alongside Roses. Weddle now in the ruck against big Ned Moyle. There's Humphrey swooping in to Noble. Slight fake, back to Humphrey. Now Flanders, beautiful overrun. Newland, one more. They send it inside 50 off the boot of Miller. 2 on 2, Barris up the front, out the back. Jed Walter, can he get boot to it? The Hawks arrive. He does well to keep it in play. The long, brilliant that by a big man to get it back in play. And Long kicks his second.
I believe it's a goal. We check if the ball crosses the behind line. Umpire's call is goal. Please confirm that the ball across the goal line.
Review underway.
CJ saved the day here, but for the touch there as well.
So the umpire's called for to see if it has gone behind the goal line is the first one, but you can also see the Hawthorn players seeing if it's touched. That's certainly still in play.
Keep it in.
Yeah. We went early on a call like this last week. I'll just let it play out. Howie,
have another go there.
Didn't go your way, George.
I know you can overturn that. Can you?
Good luck.
Yeah.
Put it in the book.
I think usually when they go for about 20 seconds, Howie, it's umpire's call. quick thinking by Ben Long as well. It's a tricky kick, that one, as soon as that ball fired back to him, to even get the right angle for a ball that usually would snap the other way.
What about when he goes for 50 seconds, Jack?
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
As a batsman, you know you're in trouble. I'm not sure about football.
Review complete. Looking at these angles, we can see the ball does not cross the back of the behind line, and there is insufficient evidence to determine if the ball is touched by the Hawthorn defender or not. Decision on the scoreboard.
They've got the cricket clap in the background as well. So umpire's call was a goal. I think once again, the running carry off half-back, and you call Ulan was the important player in that particular piece of play, to then get the ball inside forward 50, long and deep, and really challenge the Hawthorn defenders.
I was worried about the handball from Ulan. He nearly put it through Tuke Miller's chest the way he handballed. Miller did really well in slippery conditions to actually control it and then hit the top of the pack. And that is, and we talked about it in the first quarter, is in these sort of games, you have to be so critically confident to keep the ball in front of the contest there. The ball slips out the back, and it is the easiest spot for a small forward to run it. You can see Andrew Dillon enjoying the footy up here in Darwin, but at the moment, this quarter's been all Hawthorn, but all of a sudden, from half-back, the Suns has got their game up and going, and that's exactly what they've got in their kit bag.
Yeah. So Moyle wins it to Rao, who's pushed down by Warple. Gets the free kick. Noble. Long ball towards full forwards. Long, can he snare another one? Drops it. Sicily thinks about it. Off a step. Wobbly one. Doesn't exit D50 though. It's marked by Closey.
That's just perceived pressure now. We've spoken about in the first quarter, about Gold Coast's ability to pressure the Hawthorn disposal. Probably had a little bit more time there, James Sicily, to get more connection on the ball and get it further down the field.
The pressure factor is not huge at the moment, so perceived pressure is a real thing in AFL footy.
So 8 touches for Sam Closey so far tonight. Still Knight for kicking. Kicking from a long way out. It's a terrific kick off the boot. That's a fantastic kick. That is as good a set shot as you'll see.
There's been some great set shots tonight already in the first half. That ball just kept travelling. So it's really well set up behind. So what you're relying on is in the forward 50 for your forwards to apply the pressure, to create a disposal that's quick, and the play doesn't have time to pick someone out and deliver it correctly. So it was a rush kick from James Sicily. And then what you're relying on further down the field is to set up for that turnover. So you just see here that the disposal from Sis came off the side of the boot. Let's set up. Closey was the player best in position to mark it. He's a great striker of the football. In really dangerous areas at the moment for Hawthorn. 26 points, Gold Coast.
Yeah, Dust dominated the last 2 centre bounces here, just getting the ball inside deep.
The last 2 of the Suns, 20 points up at quarter time. Anderson Rao running a muck in the middle onto Flanders. Chipping ball in the space of no time at all. Another one for the Suns. Exit the middle, put it through the sticks.
It's been starting to become a real issue, centre bounce for the Hawthorn Football Club. Gold Coast just dominating the middle, and you can see it's a pretty easy MO for them. They're winning it out of the middle and trying to get it to the hot spot and creating chaos there. The last 2 goals have come from centre bounce, and Noah Anderson here, just being clean at ground level and actually getting your relationship with your half forward right. You can see the half-back from Hawthorn coming up to try and affect Anderson, and Flanders set out the back perfectly. A little handball over the top creates that overlap, and just did enough to get it over Tom Barras, who was standing right on the goal line. I think he might have even tried to claim that he touched it, but
wasn't a very convincing play.
It wasn't. I think he sort of looked at the goal umpire and said, "Please," but this centre bounce is really becoming an issue.
What are you making of it, Ed?
Just that goal, just then kicked. The Gold Coast backs just celebrated, all running together, high-fiving, just like Richmond and Collingwood, the way they did in their premiership year.
So they're up and about, no doubt about that. Eddie Betts On the boundary line for us, Rioli, McAndrew working together along the half-back line for the Suns. Long ball, Scrimshaw back with the flight of the ball, couldn't quite mark it. Big Moyle, big net bearing down on him, out of play.
Enjoyed the 2 rucks tonight. Damien Hardwick said that we would have, we'd see both of them on the ground, but we wouldn't see all 2 forwards on there as well. So playing a ruck forward as well.
Sean Burgoyne also on the boundary line for us.
Yeah, Noble's actually dominating off half-back. He's already at the 5 inside 50s. That's huge for a half-back. So Hawthorn now put Finn McGuinness onto him to try and curb his influence.
4 premierships. Sean Burgoyne as they come back through the middle of the Hawks under all sorts of pressure, giving up the last 3 goals. Mackenzie's caught.
Jared, hold the meter.
Amon. As far as Ward, tries to get away from the closing tackle. Scrimshaw getting out towards the boundary. Amon goes back in to give them a bit of room. Wobbling ball forward. McAndrew through his hands. Tough night for Mark as it gets more slippery as the evening goes on. Rioli. Sean, we saw a shot of your premiership teammate, multiple premiership teammate, Cyril Rioli. We heard the coach, Sam Mitchell, say he hoped to see him. What are your thoughts about Cyril at the footy? It's got to be a wonderful thing.
Great thing. Yeah, it's a great thing, Cyril being back at the footy. It was a Hawthorn great. The Hawthorn people love seeing him involved, but yeah, getting back to the footy is the first step for him and getting to enjoy watching Hawthorn play again.
Anderson with a guy ball, floating ball. It was a complicated one for Long and punched out.
So a simple fact, or a simple stat here tonight is that Hawthorn are going at a 2-to-1 handball to kick ratio. So clearly playing the handball game at the moment. The Suns, it's nearly 1-to-1 kick handball. So they're clearly playing a little bit longer, a little bit straighter, and it's working for them at the moment.
Witt's a picture of concentration as he taps it down. Rowell through the legs. A little bit of clever stuff to Humphrey, who's taken in a tackle. Witts wins it. Play on is the call, but ball going nowhere.
This is why there's more congestion. So half forwards are now coming up to the stoppage. We spoke about Hawthorn keeping 6 forwards in the first quarter, so there will be a few more repeat stoppages. That's why it's important to really hone in on your craft. Go inside, then try and release it to a runner on the outside.
Anderson with the soccer kick. It's good enough. It's a centering ball. Sicily hit it hard. Grabbed by Ainsworth.
He's lucky not to fall on his back there, Morrison. They get another chance here. You can see Rao coming down. Big Witts is the ruckman. Can they set something up from a connection point of view?
Witts using his body only as far as Scrimshaw, who clears the area. Now what's Jordan and McAndrew going to do? No communication, and the ball didn't set up perfectly for Chol. Watley entry inside 50 for Hawthorn. Watson leads the foot race, kept it in momentarily, and then affects the tackle on Powell, who just was desperate for it to go out. And then Noble across the goal line. Rioli has 2 bounces, has a jog, 3 bounces outside 50, 4 bounces. Ginnivan chasing, he wins the foot race and darts it along the wing.
Fantastic footy out of half-back. Weddle trying to impose himself on the game. The Hawks ease it forward on the path of McDonald. Good chain of hand pass. Ends up with Warple outside 50. A convincing kick forward. Watson outsized. Doesn't matter when you're Nick Watson.
I mean, they wouldn't have scored if it wasn't for Nick Watson so far in this game. He looks lively. So it's just about how much can they get it to him to give him a chance to be able to score at the moment. Gold Coast were off. Hawthorn did a good job between the arcs to turn that ball over.
He's kicked 1, Watson. He's been the only focal point forward. Played his whole career outsized, you'd imagine. Plays on round the corner. Makes no mistake. Watson's got 2. Desperately needed for the Hawks.
He's played deep forward, and probably got burnt by Ginnivan that clubbed before in terms of Ginnivan just threw it on the boot. The opportunity. Then Daniel Rioli looks so fast out of half back, but this is why this man is so important here. See how he just gives over the back, Powell, and as soon as Watson nudged him up the back, he knows exactly where the ball is going to drop there. And even small in stature, it just got him at the right time, in the right space, didn't give away the free kick, and then full extension to go back and catch the ball like that. It's a sign of a guy that's really good over his head. And this has been a good little build-up of play for Hawthorn here. They got the overlap handball there, and they've been a little bit handball happy, but just get it into the key forward, a small forward there, to create the contest and a great mark.
He's been targeted 5 times for 2 goals. So he's clearly the most dangerous forward at the moment.
A little bit more of it as they head towards half-time.
Anderson, Ned Reeves.
As the Suns bring it through the middle, a long ball towards the top of the square and out the back.
I don't mind the play from Sam Mitchell as well to know that it's not really a marking forward. You can see Reeves landed there.
Yeah, landed on his behind.
Just playing a small at key forward, and the ruck contest here where he comes down and lands right on the sort of hip pointer sort of area there. Why not play a smaller forward at full forward and try and get an advantage at ground level?
There's a bit of bother there.
Sure boy.
Thanks, guys.
One time again, the Suns just seem to run it forward out of the centre bounce contest, drive it deep. Hear about that with Joey and Jason and David and Sarah at half-time. Miller takes on the tackle. Well done, Sicily. Got him on the second attempt. Unlucky not to receive the free. Doesn't matter. Newcomb takes it back the other way. Warple stands up in the tackle. Ward runs into trouble in the form of Jeffrey. Newcomb, where it started, sends it forward. Wizard, Watson. Oh, brilliant, Watson. He's in rare touch. Runs inside. Goes unselfishly to Weddle. Brilliant football. He thinks about going. The stop and the prop and the gather was breathtaking from Watson.
Any ball that's going in his area at the moment, he's winning those one-on-ones.
2 in a row for the Hawks. Weddle gets it a little skinny.
And charge forward.
Eddie Betts.
Yeah, Weddle just came straight off the bench from Reeves and just ran straight forward and got on the end of it. Unlucky to keep that goal.
McAndrew attempted talk. Rose's direction. Scampers away from Sicily. Kick towards the pocket. It's a rolling football in the dewy conditions. McGuinness taken to ground by Walter and a ball up.
So the advantage there, the Gold Coast Suns at ground level. Ben Long was at the front. Jed Walter went over his head. They just needed to create a contest and bring it to the front, but opportunity here.
So Witts brings it down with Little in the ruck work. And Miller wrapped up.
Just watching Sicily and Long off to the side. Someone will give away a free kick at some stage.
So Witts has a couple of bites at the cherry, then catches it. Out to Miller. Can't get clear purchase. Warple with the big fist. Coughs it up though. Straight to Anderson. Anderson skies a snap. It's not bad. He's kicked it. Noah Anderson, one of their stars.
That's an incredible finish on the left foot. And just setting up behind the ball. Not his role to go into that forward 50 stoppage there, and more of a defensive protection behind for that exact reason. You're there in what Richmond used to call the slip squad, and he's standing behind the ball, and I don't mind trying to knock it out. It was Warple who tried to knock it out. He's had a pretty good run against the Hawks recently, Noah Anderson, and this is an incredible finish. And Tuke Miller looked like he was the one that was going to have the first shot here. You can see Anderson just patrolling at the back there, just inside 50, more of a defensive setup, and the ball goes straight to him, a little step, and a really good finish on the left.
Yeah. Too many spares inside the stoppage. That's how Noah Anderson gets free. Hardwick was the forward, probably could have rolled up a little bit earlier, but too many numbers in and around the stoppage. And that's been the dominance from the Gold Coast that has meant that Hawthorn have had to support the stoppage.
Again, they get a centre clearance. 4 goals to 2 for the term. 20 points at quarter times, 32. Approaching half time, just dominating out of the middle. Newcomb overruns it. Hawks under all sorts of pressure in defence. Jaff overruns it. Shoved forward by Long. Big Jed Walter arrives. Scrimshaw ragdolled as he tries to clear it out of defence. Weddle brings the fist. Noble brings the tackle. And Newcomb off the ground. The ankle looks okay from that replay we saw earlier on. Cal Shadir hasn't been a factor so far in his first game for the season.
Insufficient intent. 9-4 out of the centre bounce in favour of the Gold Coast Suns, Howie.
It's on 5.
So Dia with the football now.
Play on.
Really big 6 minutes here for the Hawks as Dia's raking ball. Away from Child. Big tackle over the top. Rao. In the back it goes to Moore.
You can see a little bit more movement now compared to the first quarter.
Watson trying to break free. High ball to the top of the square. They go. No mark taken by Charlie. Almost raked it in. He got some serious air.
You can see what a little bit of movement does, though, from Hawthorn. They look so much more damaging this quarter because players are starting to get on the move and not expecting players just to have a shot or kick it long.
One down by Moyle, and the Gold Coast attempting to clear. Sicily puts pay to that idea and out.
A big jump there by Midfield Child.
He might be thinking, I might have just dropped mark of the year. Watson's come up to the stoppage. Try and create some chaos.
Weddle started forward and went back, now having a run in the ruck. And been pushed out of the contest as the Suns with a high clearing ball. Goes across the line. Marby or Child, he's a man that can do spectacular things, as you know. Have a look at that leap, Jack. Over the top of Mac Andrew.
I reckon halfway down, Charlie was thinking, what have I done? It looks like he's going to belly flop into the ground there at Darwin, but I just would have loved him to grab that one, Howie.
Weddle, Moyle, Newcomb ground level. Important hand in from Warple. Just as important from Miller to Flanders. Humphrey, great run from Miller. Just left it behind at the last moment.
Yeah, he came from the stoppage too. Came from the stoppage, saw the opportunity. Done Noah Anderson, 20 disposals already, 9 contested, 10 uncontested, 9 clearances and a goal for a half of football.
Last time he played the Hawks, 36 disposals and got the 3 Brownlow votes.
Oh, he's on track to surpass that. He's having some half of football.
Moyle slaps it to the ground. Humphrey on the ground. It'll be a ball up.
Seen Warple putting a lot of time into Matt Rao. Maybe the time is to switch over to Noah Anderson. It's Newcomb on him at the moment.
Part of the congestion. Ambrosio throws it on the boot. Hewland. McAndrew.
Outside 5. Play on.
Hewland having to have a bit of a gallop along the half-back line, but they're not organised here at the moment. And he's going to hang that one up for a while. Chol was bearing down on Noble. So not convincing at the moment. Witts, Noble into trouble. So Witts has to go Fossigging after it. He's grabbed the ground by Newcomb. And in the end, it's going to be a ball up. It's probably not a bad result for the Gold Coast because they were in a pickle.
Yep, and they're in a part of the ground where they've been dominant too. You can just see there. Clearances. Just for a half of football.
Newcomb spirals the ball in the path of Deer. Ginnivan tries to set a high ball up to give the forward some opportunity, but that opportunity is taken by Jeffrey. He was called immediately to go. He wanted to bring it back. It was too late.
There's Watson in this one again. He took a couple of steps, so he'll certainly play on.
Plays on Watson, full of confidence, sends it home! Free for Watson, he's keeping the Hawks in it single-handedly, and they get one back.
Well, there's been some really individual, brilliant performances. We've just spoken about Noah Anderson, the game that he's having off the charts. This man here, Nick Watson, you're right, he is the only player at the moment, especially forward of the ball for Hawthorn, keeping them in the game. He just looks so dangerous. It was a really dangerous kick by Ginnivan across the face of goal, which just opened up the other side for the Gold Coast Suns to access if they really wanted to. Then it was Really clever tackle. You just see there, 2 steps bang off the mark. Nick Watson was onto it. Forced the turnover, forced the free kick. No one was watching him to be able to play on. Terrific finish in the end.
So back in the middle. Good to see Reeves fighting hard for it there. Moore, Newcomb off the ground. Trundles at 25 metres. Out the back it goes. Newcomb. Won that time by Closey. Handball over the top. Back to Moore. Amon. McGuinness. Tight ropes the boundary. It's good enough. Morrison. So they get a chance here through Amon. Sells a bit of candy onto the left boot. It's not a bad looking attempt. It's a quality attempt. And here come the Hawks.
Good finish. A really good finish. You can see why they try and get the ball to Carl Amon's hands as much as they possibly can. But Hawthorn win one out of centre bounce and start to get the ball going their direction from the centre bounce, and it gives them an opportunity for time in forward half. And he's a classy finisher, Carl Amon. Spends a lot of time half back, a lot of time on the wing, and had the little sort of step inside, little balk, which left footers have been so good at. And Harry Morrison as well has had a bit of an impact in the air. Knows to get it to the ball user, and that there just really classy, steady, and a good finish. And the Hawks are right back in this.
Skillful and durable. Amon only missed 3 games in the last 6 years. And the Hawks kick 3 of the last 4 and get another clearance through McKenzie. Inside 50 again. Deere on a strong lead to Ginnivan. Loops it out, McDonald. Anderson having the first half dominance. Morrison wobbles it high. Here's Watson again.
Looks like that matchup might have been changed, I think. So Power has been the one to go over to Nick Watson.
Big separation, please.
So it's back to the margin that we saw at quarter time, 20 points. Miller over the top, came out to Rioli. Anderson grabbed by Watson. The umpire wants it.
In a sense, Nick Watson is like a shark circling. As soon as he sees an opportunity, whether it be an offense or defence, he's right there.
And Reeves tries to pat it in his direction. Rioli, it's along the ground. Anderson, Miller's handball ricocheted at close quarters and out.
I was going to say, good luck trying to find space in that congestion. This is where you really need to try and communicate with the ruckman. Ned Reeves on this occasion inside the forward 50. Some longer hits and some blocks at ground level.
So Reeves, Ginnivan trying to read it. Warpool can't get a look at the sticks. McKenzie out to Ginnivan. Ginnivan! It's another one to the Hawks. 3 in about 4 minutes. They're coming for the stampede late in the first half.
It's just taking your opportunity and being clean. Jack Ginnivan on that occasion. So we just see the handball from McKenzie and the work in congestion to then try and find a spare player outside of that particular contest. And then it's up to the receiver to be able to set himself so when the handball comes out, he's ready to go. You understand that man there, he's so clever around goals.
Tough by James Warple here as well. He was the initial ball carrier. Then you can see from this stoppage, this boundary throwing gave them just that little bit more bit of space just to go out. Warple was the first one there. You can see he just fought through quick hands, and you mentioned it, Louis, the ability to be clean gives them that shot at goal.
Ginnivan spent some time in the VFL. He's been good on his return. 14 and a goal in the first half tonight. Jath tries to use the body. He's back to McGuinness. Fiorini and Ainsworth are in the picture. Scrimshaw putting his head down and going low is Ben Ainsworth.
Now we're treated to a relatively high-scoring half again here up in Darwin, and at the moment both sides have had the momentum at certain stages during the game.
Number 1 scoring average in the comp, the Suns. Miller Finds a bit of space. No. More metres gained for John. Walter, he is a big presence forward. Jack will be happy for the line. Keeps it in momentarily to McGuinness. Touch ball, dangerous area here. Sicily stands up, casual as typical. Now McGuinness rides the bump. Goes again to McGuinness. Not sure how he got rid of it. Suns appeal. Humphrey dangerous. Slides off the outside of the boot. Players down everywhere. Big contest this. 38 seconds on the clock. Suns are pressing. Scrimshaw doing everything he can to get it out of defence. Still the Hawks look for the line. And eventually safety.
We're going down left, right and centre there. You can see the physical toll of playing in these conditions just before half-time. It's a tough game, especially up here in the humidity.
Final 25 seconds of the half. McGuinness over the head of Reeves. That takes some doing. Noble's high centering ball. Last chance for the Gold Coast. Ainsworth was hovering. Eamon off a standing start. Just wobbles it outside D50. Noble couldn't mark it. Warple threw it on the boot. It's going to bounce and it's going to bounce and take forever. It's not going to quite get to the boundary line. Hewlin picks it up and there is the siren. So after it was 20 at quarter time, the Hawks have made a contest of it. It's 14 points at halftime. The Gold Coast Suns, who are 6-2, coming in with a game in hand lead at halftime at TIO Stadium in Darwin. Plenty for both coaches to contemplate. And we've got the best analysis in the business. Fox Footy on a Thursday night, spearheaded by Sarah Jones.
Thank you very much, Maddie Hill. Great call from yourself and Mark Howard. And what a game we've got on our hands. 14 points the margin. It got up to 32 points after a pretty powerful opening half by the Suns. But the Hawks have come storming back with thanks to Harvey Norman, Jason Dunsall. We're going to have a look at how the Suns got themselves in this position to begin with some pretty impressive play.
They've done a lot right. They've been very, very good. Their clearance work has been exceptional. Their contested possession work, the pressure that they've put on, I think they've been absolutely first rate. And you'll see a lot of their scores from stoppages have been fantastic. The centre bounce work has been amazing. And whenever the Hawks have turned it over, particularly early in the game in that first quarter, they punished them big time.
I think Miller's put it to him. I think he's challenged them with his run and gun game. Anderson's been enormous around the stoppages and they've really had this game shot to bits. It looked over. And then the Hawks, in the space of 5 minutes, went bang, 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 and game on. And I know you've been a massive fan of what small man Watson's done in the first half, Charlie.
Yeah, really, he's kept him in it. He has kept him in it, Nick Watson, because you're right, we were watching this game and halfway through the second quarter, you thought Gold Coast by how far. The game was on their terms. Their pressure, their forward half game, they were forcing Hawthorn to play wide and kick the ball and they were just not generating anything really going forward. But to their credit, the Hawks, they hung in there and 3 late goals have just given them a bit of momentum and I think they'll be rapt to be 14 points down at half-time.
So we know how the record is sensational for the Suns. 7 in a row. Jason, are they looking shaky, do you think, with the Hawks surge?
No, I don't think they're shaky. Hawthorn's a good enough team to get a 5 or 10 minute patch of the game on their terms and they got some quick ball in and they managed to kick a few. Both teams have been accurate in front of goal, which is really exciting. But I mean, to kick 9 goals in a half of footy, Gold Coast, against one of the better defensive units in the competition, that's no mean feat.
Jason mentioned the clearance. They've been dominant, the Suns, at this, and it's more of that Damien Hardwick brand.
Yeah, well, he hasn't really had a clearance game like this before. It's only this season he's had Rao and Anderson and Witts in great form. And just look at the types of clearances. Clearances, and there are clearances. Look at this. Threading a handball through a hole and you are out the front door and gone. Anderson's been enormous. Miller's been one touch. Rao, I think, he's been there but not his dominant best just yet. And they just gave this forward line countless opportunities. Just watch Miller here. Watch this post stoppage as they bobble the ball around. He's able to turn. He's able to get shoulders out in the front again. And that's when the game, I think, becomes really easy for the Suns. 31 inside 50s, the bulk of those coming from clearance. So they've got some work to do, the Hawks, if they're to get back in this game. Just have a look at the points from clearances. They're 31. It's a massive number, isn't it, Chase? When that's only meant to be 35% of your scoring. And the metres game, for me, what I'm really impressed with. So plus 9 clearances in a half of footy, but plus 411 metres, or over 400 metres. They've been going to plus 360 for complete games this year, which is the best in the competition. So plus 400 at half time is a smashing.
So are they the next layers to Damien Hardwick's masterpiece, I suppose, that he's trying to create, the big masterpiece of holding up that Premiership Cup?
It's just a different mode. It's just another asset that he's got, another way of scoring, Joey.
Yeah, it's been elite. And I think the Ned Reeves ruck situation's been interesting. I mean, he hurt himself there, and hopefully he'll come back. But the two rucks have been able to give them first use.
Joey, talk to us about Hawthorn's inside 50 entries and how they've fluctuated at different times during the match.
Yeah, it was just uncharacteristic, particularly in that first quarter. I mean, they are one of the best inside 50 teams in the competition at being able to find a mark. They've got a lot of elite kicks, and it has been a strength. But early in this game, they were just really slaughtering the ball. There was long and high balls. There was kicks that just weren't to advantage, and they were just generating nothing off it. And we were finding that the numbers were going to be on track for almost 10-year lows in regards to their scores per inside 50. But because of the 3 late goals, and particularly because of Nick Watson, they were able to tidy that up. But this isn't sort of the stuff we usually see from the Hawks, Jason. Normally they're much better at sort of finding a pinpoint pass inside 50. Maybe Jack Gunston is hurting more than we thought, because he is a guy that leads and presents at the kicker and always gives them an option. But yeah, for a big part of that first half, it just looked unlike Hawthorn.
Has been tough. I mean, you mentioned how good Nick Watson's been. He's given them something. He's given them a bit of bite every time they've gone forward. Other than that, there's been a couple of good contests from Arby or Chol. Kalshi Deers found it really tough after missing so much footy. It's great to see him getting a game under his belt, but the workload's catching up to him in the heat, and the first up performance from a long spell. So it's been tough for him to get into the game. But the challenge now is, what can Hawthorn do to stop that midfield dominance and that clearance dominance that Gold Coast have had? So it's going to be really interesting to see what they can find in the second half.
Let's head to Eddie and Sean, who are watching the game unfold from ground level. Our guys, we've sung the praises of Nick Watson, 3 goals. What are you seeing from your perspective?
I'll tell you what, there's one player on the field tonight. You just mentioned him, Nick Watson. Whenever he goes for the ball, Eddie, the crowd roars. And who better to talk about Nick Watson than yourself?
Well, it looked like Gold Coast were going to run away from the game right there. And it started with the smallest man on the ground, Nick Watson. And it was the area. We did it all over, Shawnee. He was taking marks deep down forward. He was chasing. He put a tackle on, holding the ball up here at 50. He's running down the forward. He's keeping the ball in. So he just created chaos down there. And that's what really drove the energy that Hawthorn got. And they started climbing their way back into it. But like you said, he's got to now go in, reset, and come out and have a second big half. So, but like again, he's on fire. And like I said, the crowd absolutely love him down here.
And when there was no one else moving in the Hawthorn forward line, he was the one on the Hawthorn. So more players have to take a bit of leaf out of his book and be on the move a bit more. And the Gold Coast Suns player that I want to take a look at was John Noble, who was absolutely on fire for them. Had the 22 disposals, and most impressively had 7 inside 50s off half back. And because Noble was actually causing so much chaos for Hawthorn, Sam Mitchell put Finn McGuinness on him to try curb his influence, which then freed up some other half-back flankers like Rioli and co. But I think he's been really instrumental in actually getting the ball forward and taking it to Hawthorn today.
Yeah, well, it was chalk and cheese, because Noble was on Watson at the start of the game, and then Noble started running off, and then Watson went deep and started to impact the game. John Noble is impacting the game up the ground. So in the second half, those small Hawthorn forward, Jack Ginnivan, Dylan Moore, Watson, have to, really watch Rioli, John Noble, because they are really attacking deep from half-back.
Yeah, James, a couple of exciting players there in the first half.
543 metres gained from John Noble. Certainly a big impact for the Suns this evening. And guys, how good is it to see Cyril Rioli back at the football?
Yeah, it's great to see him back. Obviously, he's a Hawthorn great. I'm not sure if it's on behalf of Hawthorn that he's here, or it's on his own accord that he's here watching the footy. But obviously, Hawthorn great. The fans still love him. It's good to see him back here watching the footy.
It's awesome, like to see a legend like that, and he's an idol and role model to so many kids up here in Darwin and NT. But for these young kids that come from remote communities that come to the game, and just to see Cyril here watching the game, it's that small step back into the footy life, and it's great to see him here.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, what a player Cyril Rioli was. Well, coming up after the break, we remember a great of the football world and a friend to us here at Fox Footy, a powerhouse coach, player and media performer, Robert Walls.
All right, folks, here we are. It's halftime at TIO Stadium there in Darwin. This Gold Coast Suns doing it 9-4-58. The Hawks 7-2-44. Hey, Taddy, how you going? Good to see you in. Ryan, thanks for the super chat, $2.99. Much appreciated, Squire. Much appreciated. Wow. Eddie G saying good day to Taddy, Octoberian channel. Yeah, Taddy. Game Board is Tina's new channel. There we go. She's starting to do some of the basketball and footy on that as well. I tell you what, 5 goals to the Hawks kicked in that second term. 4 goals to the Suns. I tell you what, that was a little bit of a strange second quarter. Right here, folks, right here, we thought, okay, this is it. The Gold Coast Suns, they're going to start to pull away from this game and run away. But all of a sudden, the Hawks, they flicked a switch. Bang, 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 bang. They're right. The Wizard Watson certainly lifted his game. So did Hawthorn. Hawthorn's pressure certainly went up a notch. They changed gears. And some of the Hawthorn of old came through in that second term. So there we go. Tell you what, it took the penny a little while to drop there for the Hawks, but they're back within 14 points. I think they'll be pretty happy with that result so far. Of course, 20 points was the margin at quarter time, 14 points the margin here at half time. We've got a game on our hands, folks. We have a game on our hands. Don't worry about that. This is going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game, especially the Hawks continue that pressure, what they were doing in that second term. There we go. Right here, they started to put it on around about the 30-minute mark. So the last 5, I tell you what, that was a long second quarter. Definitely a long second quarter with 9 goals being scored in that term. All right, while we're waiting for the... I just heard the passing of Robert Walls at 75 years of age. A little bit sad to hear. Wallsy, one of the icons of football. All right, let's duck over and have a look at the goal scorers. Of course, all single goal scorers here, folks. At the moment, of course, the Wizard, Nick Watson, he's got one. Zed, he played... he certainly lifted his game in that... latter half of that second term. Dylan Moore bobs up with one for... Hey, hang on. This hasn't updated, has it? This hasn't updated. What's going on? Let me update that. That's better. I thought Nick Watson, the Wizard, had kicked... I don't know why they didn't update. Apologies there. Nick Watson, 3 goals. Leading the table out there. He's the leading goal scorer out there for the moment. 6 kicks, 3 goals, Nick Watson. Dylan Moore, that's better. Blake Hardwick, Jack Ginnivan and Carl Lamont bob up with a single there for the Hawks, while for the Gold Coast Suns, Ben Long down there with 2. Touk Miller, Ben King, Bailey Humphrey, Sam Flanders, Sam Closey, Noah Anderson and Ben Ainsworth jump in there for a single. Football Frenzy TV. How you doing? Shouty, shouty. He said hi. G'day. Welcome in, welcome in. They're your leading goal scorers and goal scorers out there on the ground just at the moment. Disposal getters, well, John Noble, he continues to lead the way. I tell you what a pickup he's been for the Gold Coast Suns. I tell you what, just charges out a half back. He's had score involvements. He's doing exceptionally well this season. Tell you what, he'll be polling high on their best and fairest over there at the Suns. Tops the table with 22, leading the way. Fantastic opening half with 14 kicks, 8 handballs, 3 marks, a tackle and a clearance. Noah Anderson, next best on 21 for the Suns. 9 clearances, thank you, mother, for the Rabbits. He's kicked a sausage roll. They're the only 2 players in 20 at the moment. Of course, Carl Amon, the best for the Hawks on 17 with 11 kicks, 6 handballs. He's had a clearance and also kicked a goal. Jai Newcomb, next best for the Hawks on 15. Touk Miller, celebrating his milestone game. He's up to 15, so he's going all right. Jack Ginnivan lifted his second quarter there for the Hawks on 13. He's kicked one. Well done, Jack. That's it. Just play your game. Play your game. Don't mouth off. Just play your game. There we go. Let's roll on down. Dylan Moore up there to 11. Let me just have a look and see. I know they're talking about Robert Walls. That's right. It's James Sicily. I'll tell you what, he's like the godfather of Hawthorn out on the field, isn't he? He's up to 10. Dan Rioli up to 10 also. Let's just roll down. The big man, Jared Witts there for The Suns, 8 touches, just the 2 kicks, 6 handballs though. He's had a couple of marks, a tackle, 18 hit-outs, 4 clearances, so doing aura. Where's the other big man? We haven't got to the other big man just at the moment. All right, let's continue down. Jai just on the 6. McAndrew, there we go. He's just had the 5 touches, but he's doing a lot of small work there, so he's doing his job there. 3 kicks, 2 handballs, the 3 marks. Well done to him. Ambrosio, the other man, he's having his milestone game. The 4 touches, just the 3 and 1. All right, and of course Ned Reeves there for Hawthorn, the other ruckman. Just the 2 touches, 1 kick, a handball, a couple of tackles. He's had 1 clearance, 21 hit-outs. Not too bad. Team stats, let's just have a little bit of a look at those. Let me have a look how far we've got. We've just got 5 minutes to go before we get into the second half here. It's the Suns by 24 disposals. Hawks did well to nudge that back closer. And the Hawks, though, 6 kicks. The Suns, as we were saying earlier, their link-up has been really well there. That's plus 30 in the handballs. Inside 50s, both teams having plenty of opportunities. 31 for 13 scoring shots to the Suns. For the Hawks, 28 for 9 scoring shots. It's really good to see both of these teams kicking reasonably accurate tonight. Of course, 9 goals, 4 to 7 goals too. Great to see accuracy on the boot of both teams. It's what we like to see. Absolutely. Deficiency. I always say deficiency. Disposal efficiency. I'm just combining the 2 words. Gold Coast Suns a little bit above season average, 75 nice. Hawks need to lift, 68, a little bit low. Free kicks, 15 to 10. Umpires, well, the umpires always need a little bit of look at me time. That's when they like to blow the whistle. 15 to 10, Gold Coast plus 5 in the free kicks. But nothing much really damaging or telling in the free kicks. They're all pretty well there. Nothing changing the game score or anything. The hit-outs, it's the Suns by 3. The Suns in the clearances by 9. Centre clearances plus 4. And plus 5 in the stoppage clearances. Centre clearances, the Suns season average, there we go, is just 12.5. Already up to 10. They're looking good. Looking very good in that department already. Contested possessions, there we go, 78-76. As I said, the Hawks are a lot better at the contested ball halfway through that second term. Uncontested, just the 27. Turnovers all pretty well tidy, 35, 36 apiece, 39 each, the marks. And there we go, doesn't get much closer in the marks. Marks inside 50. Both teams, 3 marks and 4 marks, they're just not, maybe they just need to lower their eyes. They need to get some, as I always say, they need to clear out, get a bit of open space, let their forwards do their thing, lead up to their target. The in-ball kicker should be low on their eyes and looking for that target. 4 to 3, that's a little bit low, definitely a little bit low for both sides, especially since they've both been inside forward 50 plenty of times each, which was, sorry about that, I'll take it up quick, 31 to 28. 31 to 28. 31 inside 50s for only 4 marks, 28 for only 3 marks. So both teams need to do a little bit better job in that. Contested marks, 7 to 5. Hawks plus 2 there. The tackles, Hawks, as I said, lifted in that second term, 40. I tell you what, when the Hawks bring the pressure, they certainly bring the pressure. 40-26 in the tackle count. 7 to 5 tackles inside 50. Doing it well. All right, let me just put that back there. There we go. Center all good stuff. Hey, folks, we'll be back in just a moment with the commentators. And then we will head down to the bounce of the ball for the second half where the Hawks are by 14. Stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a moment.
Thursday night footy on the Fox. The Suns by 20 at quarter time. They got out to 32 points, but the Hawks kicked 4 of the last 5, 14-point half-time margin. This man, though, Jordan Lewis, has been spectacular.
No, he has. He's led from the front, the captain of the Gold Coast Suns. You see there, 9 clearances in the first half. Matt Rowell will be aware of where he sits at half-time, that his lead might be mowed down in the second half. So he might make himself more hit too, Matt Rowell, just to stop that. But he has been sensational. 21 disposals, 9 clearances, 5 scoring involvements and 1 goal. He's been sensational. So they need to put some time in there.
Yeah, it looks like James Warple will be the man. He's also Matt Rowell in that first half there. Held Rowell to only 3 clearances and 12 disposals. Made the switch across to the hot hand in Anderson.
Second half at TIO Stadium on a Thursday night. 14 points the margin. Moyle and Reeves. Big deep breath from the umpire and away we go. Moyle tapped it down, Anderson overran it. Miller back to Anderson. Anderson looping handball over the top. Rowell runs onto it hard. Spears it inside 50. Long couldn't mark it. Picked up by Scrimshaw. Coughs it up to King. Here's a chance. Flags his check side. And hits the woodwork.
It's really the perfect start there.
Look at the handball from Anderson.
Anderson to Miller, back to Anderson and Rowell. But all 3 centre clearance plays.
It's great
for the Gold Coast Suns getting involved in that bit of play.
Battle to reset for the Hawks. Drifts to the outer side. Chol in the air.
So Josh Ward's got the big job on Matt Rowell now.
Through his hands. D'Ambrosio handed it across to the ruckman Reeves. Lands in the hands of Chol. Touch of fortune. There is Ward. A little low Pearson turns it straight over to Ewan.
The shallow turnovers can hurt you. Not on this occasion. They've been able to create some delay. Might get another chance here.
Rioli had to pick it up with a half volley. 13th touch for Ewan tonight. Got it past half forward as Newcomb retreats to Scrimshaw. Kick in the Chol direction. Worried out of it by Collins. Taps it back to Anderson. Working with Fiorini to Miller and then Anderson. Dumps it towards the pockets. Another entry inside 50 for Gold Coast. And it's going to be a free kick to Hawthorn. Advantage paid Eamon as they blaze out of D50.
And through the middle as Newcomb takes a bounce. Flips it back by hand. Warple. Now they run ahead of the footy. Piercing ball forward is good. Build up more. Wants to go on. Why wouldn't you look for Watson? The form he's in. Kicked free in the first half, didn't Nick?
Yeah, I think 2 pieces of play that were really smart by Carl Amon is one to take the advantage, realise it was Hawthorn's free kick, take the advantage, because they've actually struggled to try and penetrate through the layers of defence of this Gold Coast Suns, and then the ability to run and follow up and continue on in that chain.
And a wonderful first half did Watson. Kept the Hawks in it in many ways. For a fourth from a tightish angle. Just sliding across. Big fly from behind came from Hardwick.
It's a good insight into you don't need to rush forward as well. You saw a couple of sort of loopy handballs there. Well, actually, that is to engage the players around you to then get the one out again and the player running free by himself, which was aim on there. So Hawthorn don't need to rush up the ground. They're just got to be smart, composed and run together when using the ball out of the back half.
Moyle at the back. Double Palmer. Newland. 2-on-1. Hawks have the numbers. Walter with the fist. Ginnivan tried to trap it with his feet. And it went out of bounds on the full. So Rowell gets the free kick.
Yours, me too.
So Rowell's kick in the Walter direction. Had 2 to beat. McGuinness dropped it. Fiorini. Anderson. These skies one towards half forward. Hard ball to win. Big punch from Barris. Back into the middle. Newcomb by hand. Hawks streaming through again. Long kick inside 50 from McGuinness, but it was a pulled kick in the end and Collins all over it.
Yeah, it's a poor kick, no composure. Go inside forward 50. Jack just spoke about using the numbers in and around you.
Closey, rangy customer. Shallow entry inside 50. Barris goes too early. King doesn't.
Just misjudged it there. Tom Barras. King was the recipient, just sitting in behind. Sicily couldn't get over and get body contact in, so leader of the Coleman medal.
212 career goals. Him and his brother Max, the only twins to have kicked 150 plus VFL, AFL goals. Ben looking for a second goal for the evening to extend his lead in the Coleman. Right on the paint of 50. Oh, look at that for a drop punt. Picture perfect from Ben. King gets his second, and the Suns open the major scoring in the second half.
Yeah, wasn't in the ideal position as a forward there with Barras in front of him. I think Barras has just mistimed his jump to spoil. Only moments before that, Tom Barras in exactly the same position and gets both hands to the ball and does a 30-metre spot. I think he was thinking the same thing here, but just elevated too early. But sometimes the ball does just fall in your priorities. Look at the CEO getting a goal, Mark Evans. See Barras being aggressive, coming up to Holman. I think he saw him there, and then the only thing that I thought that he was going to actually sit on Holman and maybe get the spoil in, and King just followed him nicely. The ball just went a little bit further than Tom Barras was sufficiently thinking. James Sicily not having an impact in the air there as well, and a really nice finish from 50.
So you can see that Coleman medal tally on the bottom as well. It's a 4-goal buffer at the moment for King.
He's got one game in hand.
Chol kicks a grubber along the ground. Hawks still a chance. Ginnivan. Deer. McDonald's. Battle. McDonald's to the pockets. Ginnivan.
Nice fortuitous little throw there. I think the umpire might have been caught on the wrong side. We've seen a few shots already from here. Nick Watson's had a couple from this pocket, probably not as far out as Ginnivan currently sits. Not much movement inside forward 50 at the moment. So all players predicting that Ginnivan will have a shot. He might look late. You can see his eyes darting at the moment.
So right up against the fence. His kick towards goal isn't a bad attempt, but just to the right. So we're back to the 20 points that we're at quarter time. Of course, it was 14 at half time.
Overpowered Noble. Space on the outer side. Very tight on the line with Benny Ainsworth.
Another strong game from Johnny Noble off half-back. Run and carry. Metres gained. Just continue on his good form so far this season.
Start to the second term. It's a good 60-metre ball forward. Scrimshaw flies.
I'll stay in zone. Good combination, isn't it, Rioli? Noble off half-back.
I think you got a lockdown there with Yuland as well, who they really trust.
Moyle in the ruck, and as far as D'Ambrosio in his 50th game. And a fine pick-up for the Hawks since it came across from the Bombers. McKenzie.
It's love to see Kalshadir grab that one rather than just tapping that along. Obviously, first game back after a long loan for Kalshadir. Just needs to get his hands on the ball a little bit more, work his way back into it.
Yeah, that's the lockdown there. McGuinness on Anderson.
Wales kick inside 50. Sicily dropped it. Scrimshaw's got some work to do as a result. Gets it out to Jack, who skips outside 50 in spectacular fashion. Out to D'Ambrosio, who has some time and space to spear it along the wing to Chol. So Chol, true centre wing. Kick in the more direction.
Yeah, I thought Chol was just a little bit slow with ball in hand. The Gold Coast get back so well with really good intensity. You've got to go quick. When you get one-on-ones forward of the ball, you've got to go quick.
It was Moyle, Noble and now Yuland mopping up for now. Here come the Hawks.
Battle intercepts. McDonald, piercing ball deep forward. It hangs and Moore does the same. Couldn't get it on the second bite on the way down. Just lost sight of it for a moment there. Dylan Moore, Suns under pressure, trying to clear their defence. Noble with a check side. Battle front position. At the back to Weddle. Gives up 30 metres by hand. Barras. High ball. Got the numbers and the height with Moyle. Goes straight to the opposing ruckman. McDonald pokes it up looking for Chol. Andrew Chol's got a couple of beats. And Marbior stands up and claims it.
He's got his hands to a few inside 450 tonight, Marbior Chol. We've seen him marking him up on the wing. Could have potentially taken mark of the year early in the second quarter, but a good clunk here. He's playing against a very good defender there in Sam Collins, an ex-teammate. Chol coming across from the Gold Coast Suns a few years ago. This is an important kick for Hawthorn, just to keep them within inside 3 goals.
Multiple goals in each of his last 4 games for Chol. Hasn't kicked one tonight from directly in front. Collins stands the mark. Eased home by Chol. And the Hawks get there first to the second half, back to a 14-point margin. Down on the boundary is Sean Burgoyne.
Well, as Chol kicks that goal, Jack Scrimshaw's just come from the field. He's hobbling quite a bit. He tried to run it out, but he couldn't quite get there. He had a contest where he went to ground and copped the head. And as he comes off, Hawthorn's sub starts warming up, so I'll keep a close eye on Jack Scrimshaw.
It'll be big out for Hawthorn if Jack Scrimshaw, who's only just back into the team, is out with an injury. Sean Burgoyne telling us that potentially an ankle in an aerial contest a few minutes ago. But
bad sport. I mean, if you're a defender and you're Ned Moore in that position, the ball goes towards the boundary line, not directly back into the corridor where usually there would be congestion. I thought this is a great 2-on-1 win. So Chol being the 1 against McAndrew and Sam Collins.
So the Hawks, another foray towards forward 50. Watson gets it out to McGuinness. McGuinness getting a little bit of separation. Palms it forward. Deer up against the boundary line. He's kept it in play. That's terrific work. Centering ball. Throwing it on the boot line. Was all too erratic, all too rushed. And it's Hewlin with the football.
I reckon that went 5 metres to Bodie Hewlin there.
All 4 metres, I reckon.
So the Suns repel. Centre clearance from the Hawks. Sicily provides the fist straight down to Newcomb. Ward, McKenzie, left hand with the glove after the hand issue. Sends it deep. Collins tracks back. And rather casually takes a nice mark and immediately kills.
A couple of really big, important spoils and marks, Sam Collins. We saw one about 3 minutes before, came back and affected the ball going inside 450. A cool customer.
Jack Scrimshaw's gone off the grounds, into the rooms with the physio. Bailey McDonald is the sub for Hawthorn. So we'll keep our ears out for that. Sean and Eddie on the boundary line as well will keep us right up to date. Here's Powell.
You can see not much movement further up the ground, so this usually goes long to the ruckman.
Up they go, Walter at the back. Has took mark of the year earlier on. Fighting for it. Deer, McKenzie, scrappy ball to win. Spat out. Flanders. Rao. Humphrey was clever. Then Ainsworth, and he's kicked to Long, who has used Sicily as a step ladder again.
What a mark. I suppose even just the balance from Ben Long here. He sort of loses his legs a little bit, comes sidewards and catches the ball on the side. You see the reaction here from the Gold Coast Suns bench. And we've seen a couple of hangers in this spot here. Jim Bolton took one. He couldn't kick truly, and hopefully Ben Long can.
Yes, anything Jed can do, I can do better. That was another curler. This is a shade closer. From 42, is he going to convert? No. A couple of real highlights in that passage of play. It's to 15 points. Eddie Betts, down to you.
And that was kind of like a bit of Warwick Capper like that one where he just rode on his back. He actually said before the game that he was going to try to take a specky as well.
Well, he certainly achieved that, Eddie, and the game's not done. The Hawks combined from Morrison. Amon takes a bounce and takes some ground with him. Puts it out in front of McKenzie. Here comes Deer. McKenzie might get a second attempt. Stripped to the football. Players can't remember. Jack, your team just spent some time there having a drink just outside the ground. The name's up on the honour board.
Yeah, it's the Samary's Football Club is based out of TIO, and there isn't a picture up there, a premiership picture. A lot of them have that doesn't have a longer Clark or a Rioli in it. There's multiple in all of those photos.
D'Ambrosio winds it forward for the Hawks, who are pressing. Hardwick plays tall for small marks directly in front.
Yeah, I mean, he came into the AFL system, like Hardwick, as a forward. That's where he played a lot of his juniors, so his forward craft is, I think at the elite level, he's a great competitor. He's a great overhead mark. He reads the ball really well in flight. Just got Bodie Yulin underneath the ball.
Suns did lead by 32 points after the Flanders goal in the second term. Hardwick kicked one. Start of the second term himself to make it 2 in a row for the Hawks to draw them ever closer. Hardwick directly in front. The Hawks are coming back to a 9-point margin in Darwin.
I think it's been a really methodical comeback from Hawthorn. We spoke about how they set up in the first half. You just see here.
That is a hang. That's Sicily on the way. Young little elbow too.
Human stepladder and James Sicily tonight, but Sicily tried to block his run, but it was just the athleticism of Ben Long to be able to jump and complete that mark. But I think the way Hawthorn have played, especially after quarter time, is they've brought up numbers to the stoppage. So they were dominated in around the contest. The Gold Coast Suns had a lot of transition space, which Hawthorn defenders found really hard to adapt to and defend with such open spaces. They've brought half forwards up to the stoppage, which meant it's been a little bit more congested. Hawthorn have seemed to thrive in that particular setup.
The fact they've been kicking the ball a little bit more, Hawthorn. Spoke about the happy Hawks in terms of handballing before, but it's been a bit more by foot after quarter time.
Witt slaps it down. McKenzie through the middle. Half foot ball to win. Eventually Flanders picks it up. Closey darts one inside 50, a low ball. Long on hands and knees, got it out only as far as Weddle and Ward. Ward standing start, high bouncer. Witts. It took forever and Joel grabbed him, but he got boot the ball somehow. Collins with the fist. Now Rao spreads it wide by hand. Roses. A little bit of a dance on the spots. Takes on one man. He's going to hold on to the football. Now at half forward, the kick inside 50 from Closey, cut off by Weddle.
Since I'm not comfortable behind the ball, Josh Weddle then forward restarted the game.
Want it back in the 1-2. They made a mess of it. Long slips at an opportune moment. Back to Newcomb. Weddle again, third chain. Just tumble punching forward. I think he went for the spiral and didn't work out as he was hoping to. Noble, who continues to rack up metres gained as Johnny Noble. They press forward again. Jack needs to be strong in the contest. Does well not to give away a front-on free kick. End up back with CJ. Just pokes it forward. So the Hawks with a bit of run. They're back within 9 points up, trailing by 32 halfway through the second term. Moore kicked the upper of the match. Back to Morrison in the number 1 jersey. Scoops it forward. Marbio Charles been good in the air. Dragged in at the last moment. Opportunity for Deere. Just squeezing into the path of Watson, who's been spectacular. And the boundary line stops him.
Well, so they've been damaging from 450 stoppers, especially throw-ins tonight. The Hawthorn Football Club, this gives them an opportunity to reset themselves. Gold Coast on high alert. Nick Watson, Jack Ginnivan. Got to be careful they don't give away a high free kick here. We know they're both excellent at drawing those type of free kicks.
Hawks pressing. Reeves almost won it. Rao. Holman all wrapped up. Kicks a wobbly one outside 50. Only as far as Ward. His little kick inside 50 from Newcomb. Earns himself a free kick, Newcomb. Yeah, just initiated body contact. And a little bit of lip service. Bit of pointing going on there, so maybe that has been a bit of to and fro throughout the game, but that's what happens when you make body contact. You get a player underneath the ball. Toot Miller. Just see here, we're getting a good look at it. It's too high, it's above the shoulders.
Solid feedback there, wasn't it?
Kick 4 this year, John Newcomb.
You've got the ball. Jack, you've got the ball.
The best and fairest from last year. This to get them nice and close. Beautiful looking drop putt. It's getting on at TIO Stadium in Darwin. And then
who's lining up. Nick, Jack, you've got the ball. So the small forwards are getting a testy, and Newcomb, he's down on the ground.
Yeah, you just got to be careful not to give away another free kick here, either side in this instance.
Mac Andrews been firing in these circumstances this season.
Yeah, they've got a couple of hot heads, don't they? Both these guys.
He loves to live in this type of setup, Nick Holman.
Hawthorn have just dictated this whole third quarter. They've been able to get the ball back in their forward half. They are dominating time in forward half, just keeping the ball in their part of the game. And you can see the feedback here from John Newcomb is giving him a little parrot back to him.
They've smashed him around the contest. He scored a Hawthorn 25-14 contested possession.
Humphrey stripped of the football. Barris overruns it. Taps into the path of Newcomb. Dishes out by hand, only as far as close the opportunity. Snapping is Ainsworth. Quick response for the Suns.
Has to be a blood rule, surely. Barris looked like he'd done 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Wow.
Great finish. Yeah, really good finish there. It was Ainsworth. Crafty little half forward. You can see Battle, his fellow defender, also a little bit proppy as well. The Suns needed that. They needed an answer to what has been a dominant Hawthorn quarter. This is the contest where there's a bit of friendly fire. It was Battle's elbow that got Barras across the eye, and he landed awkwardly as well. The Suns certainly needing that last goal, just to steady the ship, because it's been a Hawthorn domination in the last 10 minutes especially.
So a big 5 minutes in this third term. Newcomb just trying to advance it forward, only as far as Miller. And Rioli. Now to Rao, who runs hard. Long ball towards the top of the square. No mark taken. Weddle's there at the fall of it. Out he goes to Jaff. And out further to Eamon. Kick was smothered. Good work from a fired-up Holman.
Yeah, just competing against themselves in that forward 50. They had a really good look at it. Good midfield spread, good clearance space. Went to a really dangerous part of the ground. The Gold Coast forwards just competed against themselves.
Head down to the boundary shortly to get a bit of an idea of what's happening with Barris. Weddle from the congestion, bouncing ball hard for Miller to control. Ricochets back, Morrison dumps it on the boot, too hot for Noble. Ginnivan along the ground, was good enough in the end. He gets a second opportunity, uses the side of the boot, kick inside 50. Watson, it's a one-on-one with Powell, and Powell wins it and gets separation and leaves defensive 50.
Great win by Powell in defence. Takes a third bounce, eventually gives it back to Rioli. Watson was dangerous one-on-one. Miller spills the mark to Rao. Prepared to take on tacklers all night. He's just run through them. On to Holman. Here come the Suns now. Good smother coming from the Hawks. Moyle over the top of the footy. Jaff, Eamon. High pressure situation now. Humphrey's a powerful customer trying to burst through. McKenzie running back through. Half-back flank, sending it the other way. Needs to be good as is. Now the Hawks build. Long ball deep. Deer hasn't had much of a night so far. Gets his chance now to Ginnivan, who has had a big night. Wobbles it forward. Needs the bounce. Big v small. Collins, Watson. Spills out back to Hardwick. Goes inside 50 across to McGuinness. The Hawks are queuing up. Not enough on it. Collins, the goalkeeper.
Collins kept it away a couple of times, Sam Collins, as the gatekeeper.
Just had their opportunities, though, Hawthorn just trying to kick it off the ground.
Noble's long kick. The wanted erection. He was in the front spot, couldn't quite take it. Scrimshaw with the spoil. D'Ambrosio over the top. Has to be careful.
Fatigue's certainly playing a part. It's been a pretty sort of up and back type of game.
Rao, harassed by Warple. Sicily dumps it inside 50. Touched away. Jeffrey Dangerous handle towards Noble. He's wrapped up, holding the football. And it's on again.
A little spot fight here. Morrison, who just sort of snuck in behind Noble. He nearly allowed Noble to actually grab the ball and then take a few steps before he tackled him. So it was crafty there from Morrison. I think the move of McGuinness onto Noah Anderson's been a successful one from Sam Mitchell. You can see he just sort of let him go, and then as soon as he'd taken off, he'd had prior opportunity. He got his opportunity, and John Noble not happy with the tackle. And no love lost between these two sides.
Limited opportunities last year until around this time in 2024. Morrison has been a regular contributor since. This to get it back to 3. Straight and true. Does the job. Let's head down to Eddie Betts. Apparently the sub has been made, Eddie.
Yes, it has. Bailey McDonald is on the field now. Casey Deer just come off, so we'll just give you an update on that. It is pretty crazy down here. It's hostile. The crowd are getting into it. Barassi just came back on. David Swallow just came on as well. So the Gold Coast have activated their sub. We'll get back to you to find out who they subbed off.
Yeah, I mean, there's great feeling in the game, as we've seen, but I think if you look about how Hawthorn have got it back into the game, it's around contesting ground ball. So if you look at the numbers, plus 13 in the contest, plus 11 in the ground ball game, and certainly Noah Anderson, Finn McGuinness has been a matchup that has helped Hawthorn get dominance in that area.
So the Hawks kick 4 goals to 2 for the turn. Another clearance for the Suns. A high wobbling ball forward in the Darwin sky. Long's been spectacular. Walter took a big hanger earlier. Weddle started forward. Looks more comfortable down back. Spits it to the outer wing. There is Anderson. Rioli, rare fumble. Ward applies pressure.
Gold Coast. You're free. Here, Daniel here. Mark's here.
Downfield to Rioli. So there's a bit of feeling in the game. Important minute and a half coming up. The Hawks pressing. 3-time premiership Tiger now, son Rioli. Edging it underneath. There is McDonald just come on as the sub. He's going to be under pressure immediately. The boundary line beats Ben Ainsworth.
Setting up for a fantastic last quarter.
He's paid that deliberate bet. Ainsworth would have wanted it to go out. Ben Ainsworth.
So the Hawks with a little reprieve. Wobbly ball. And it comes to Ginnivan. And that's going to flirt with the boundary line as Sicily kept it in. No. So with a minute to go, the Gold Coast Suns have another opportunity with the ball in the hands of Bodie Hewlin.
He's going to get it moving quickly, Hewlin.
He does so. He scampers towards the middle of the ground. Long ball, another fly. Walter just couldn't quite grab it with the mitts. He had his name written all over it and eventually flops out.
Speaking of the ground ball game, Geordie, it's been Josh Weddle who's dominated at the ground level. 6 ground ball gets this quarter. His run and dash from the back line. Critically important to Hawthorn getting that part of their game up and going.
Let's look at the ruckman going at it. Hurry kick only to Watson. Watson. A little bit of fleet-footedness to Sicily. Moore's kick looks like it's a good one. Hardwick on his chest. It was a dipping short kick in the end.
Yeah, Blake Hardwick just found body on McAndrew at exactly the right time. Dylan Moore looked up and he needed someone to come to him. The only player in front of the ball was the one that came up at him and let in Hardwick. And what a great kick that was, just to pop it over the top of Bodie Hewlin and then put it onto the leading chest of Blake Hardwick.
So Hardwick to put the Hawks in front from 48 metres. It's a magnificent kick. He kicks 3. Last time they led was the 4-minute mark of the first quarter.
That's their 5th mark inside forward 50 for the quarter. It's been a real strength of Hawthorn this year to find marks inside forward 50. I love this.
Wizard.
He didn't go to the open side. He knew exactly what he had on the left-hand side. And then it was just about trying to pick a target before the ball. You can see the Gold Coast players trying to flood back and cover up those leading lanes. But in the end, it was a terrific kick inside 450 to Blake Hardwick. It's been a really impressive quarter by Hawthorn.
Interesting to see James Sicily ahead of the ball, being involved in that chain as well. So both of the swingmen for Hawthorn have pushed forward.
Last 2 goals for the Hawks. You take the lead, 3-point margin, 5 goal to 2 turn.
It sets up for a fantastic last quarter, and Hawthorn, who at times in this game, especially early on, have looked on the ropes and have brought up a side that is probably a little bit undermanned, and they've left some of their better players at home. But this young outfit and smaller outfit from a Hawthorn point of view are getting it done at the moment. And oh my gosh, it really does set up for another cracker up in the NT after last week's game as well.
Suns led by 32. Halfway through the second term, the Hawks have kicked 8 of the last 10 goals of this match. Ripping 90 in Darwin and a fantastic final quarter coming your way. The Hawks lead it 12-3-75 to the Suns 11-6-72 by 3 points. Your home of footy's Fox. Tomorrow night, we head to the SCG. Sydney take on Carlton. You'll see it right here on Fox Footy.
Holy moly, everybody. It's the Hawks that bounced back. Can you believe it? 5 goals, 1 in that third term. The Gold Coast Suns, 2 goals, 2. That's it. That is it. I'll tell you what, folks, when we thought the Suns were going to run away with it, Hawthorn have stamped their authority. Well, I'll tell you what, actually, in the third quarter, the Gold Coast, they looked like they were back to what they were doing, and Hawthorn looked like flat-footed again. But suddenly again, the lights switched in the Hawthorn players, and they got their running game going again, their pressure. So I tell you what, the Hawks, they've only been in the lead for only a few minutes in this game, and now they take the lead again, 12-3-75, 11-6-72. The Hawks by 3, straight kicking for the Hawks. 3 behinds, 12 goals. Well done, Hawks. My gosh. Hey, let's just have a little bit of a look and see what the poll vote does. And of course, we've still got 65% saying the Gold Coast Suns will win this match, 35% saying Hawthorn. Tell you what, who knows? Who knows? Is Hawthorn's night going to be tonight against the Suns? This is going to be a fantastic final quarter. This is the way to start off round 10 AFL football action. Here we go. Let's just have a quick look at the goal scorers. Nick Watson, Blake Hardwick, both with 3 goals for the Hawks. That's the most out on the ground so far. 3 any players kicked. Of course, Nick Watson, Blake Hardwick have done that. Single goal scorers also to Jai Newcomb, Harry Morrison, Dylan Moore, Jack Ginnivan, Mo Chol, Carl Amon, and of course for the Gold Coast Suns, Ben Long, Ben King, Ben Ainsworth, Triple B, they've all got 2 apiece. Took Miller, Bailey Humphrey, Sam Closey, Sam Flanders, Noah Anderson have got the singles, just the disposal getters quickly. John Noble continues to lead the way with 29 there for the Suns, 21 and 8, 4 marks, a clearance. He's having a ripper game. Noah Anderson there, 28, next best, 10 clearances. Wowee, there's a figure, 10 clearances with a sausage roll. Jai Newcomb and Carl Amon top the table for Hawthorn with 23. Let's just roll down there and I will tell you a little bit about the fixture. Hey, folks, don't forget football. If you're a football lover, we've got some cracking games coming up this weekend. And, of course, tomorrow night's action, there we go. There are your stats players. Let me just put that back up. We can wrap that up again. We are under 2 minutes away. Let me just tell you about tomorrow night's football coming up, 7:40 p.m. Melbourne time. Friday night football, that's Sydney taking on Carlton. Of course, Saturday, I'll definitely cover the Sydney-Carlton game. I'll cover one game on Saturday, folks, and that's Collingwood taking on Adelaide. That's going to be an absolute fantastic game. MCG, 1:20 p.m. Following that, you've got Port Adelaide, Geelong, the Giants and Fremantle. You got the Western Bulldogs and Essendon, and then, of course, Sunday, Richmond taking on North Melbourne, which is going to be an absolutely epic game, I think, even though they're both sitting down and bottom of the ladder. It's going to be a fantastic game. Brisbane Lions taking on Melbourne, and, of course, the Eagles and St Kilda to wrap it up. But tomorrow night's game, definitely Sydney-Carlton should be a fantastic game up there at the MCG. And the next great match is on Saturday, Collingwood-Adelaide, 1:20 p.m. There, your next couple of games I'll be doing. But tonight's match, though, I'll tell you what, we have got a cracking finish. What team wants this more? Is it going to be the Gold Coast Suns and keep their great record intact against Hawthorn, or can Hawthorn continue their merry way where they are now, which is in the front, in the lead by 3 points, 12-3-75. Suns 11-6-72. All right, folks, that's enough of me from talking. Don't forget, put in your poll. Who you think's going to win? 65%. Good evening, everyone, from Sheila May. Chia, mega love shout out. Great to see Chia in the chat. We always appreciate seeing Sheila May coming on in, saying hello to everyone. We appreciate that. All right, that's enough from me jibber-jabbering on here. Ryan Avery, Rogue One, he's doing a live stream tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 p.m. or 2 p.m. on StreamYard. It's not open panel. It's not an open panel. Come up to promote your channel. There we go. There we go. So if anyone wants to promote their channel, they can head over to Ryan Avery, Rogue One, tomorrow at about 1:30 p.m., 2 p.m. He'll be doing a live. So you can get up there, and he's a good guy. He's a good man, Ryan. Get over there, say good day over to his live tomorrow. Should be fantastic. Should be fantastic. All right, that's enough of me from the moment. I tell you what, we've got a fantastic game about to start the final quarter. I tell you what, I still can't pick a winner. All right, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'll say the Hawks. I don't know why. I don't know why. Hey, the Gold Coast. You know what? It's going to be a vital opening first goal. Who kicks that first goal? Is that the team that's going to end up winning this game? There's a good quick quiz question. Let's see at the end of the game if that actually comes. All right, enough of me talking. Let's get back down to the ground, folks. Best of luck for the Gold Coast fans and the Hawthorn fans. Bianca, I hope you're out there, and I hope you're cheering on your mighty Hawks out there. 3 points in front going into the final term. Good luck to both teams. So there we go. Anyway, I'm going to head back to the commentators, and they'll run us into the final quarter, whereas the Hawks by 3 points.
Games in a row may be a bit physically taxing, so we'll have a close eye on how they run this game out. Mark Howard and Matty Hill, back to you. If the Hawks win this, they go top of the table.
Yes, Sarah, the Hawks making most use they can of the cool room, which Geordie and Jack was saying was about a 10-degree operation.
Really late there, didn't they? It's nice in the cool room there, and then you get back out into the humidity out here in what is setting up, Louis, for a fantastic last quarter. A big last quarter in terms of ladder position as well.
Yeah, I think so. And you look towards the boys in the middle, so you see there Anderson, Miller and Rao. Anderson had 9 clearances in the first half, but he was shut out of the game by Finn McGuinness. So can he bounce back in the fourth term and assist this Gold Coast midfield to get field position inside 50, then effectively scoring opportunities? Then Rioli's run-off half-back will be important as well.
So it was the Suns by 20 at quarter time, 14 at half-time, Hawks by 3 as we kick off the final 30 minutes of play at TIO Stadium. Play on is the call from the ruck. Warple scrounges at 15 metres or so. Ginnivan grabbed.
So that's the half-forward we're talking about. So then McGuinness comes up as a half-forward as well to give them an extra number in and around the stoppage.
Hurried kick from Rao, skies one. Turn up and under. Showing courage was Weddle. Holman got it to swallow. Going to be a free kick going back to Weddle.
That's courage going back with the fly back. Not sure whether the free kick was there.
Gold Coast were away.
Perfect position.
Barris saw him earlier with the claret flowing from his left eye. It's all bandaged up. Entry inside 50. Collins with a good strong grabber.
Sicily looked like he was deep forward there for the Hawks.
Yeah, so 3 tools. So Charles Sicily up there as the targets.
Jeffrey the outer side. Newcomb does well coming back with the flight. Doesn't infringe. Closey looping hand pass. Anderson 22 in the first half, 6 in the third. Now Roses. Shallow ball towards the 50. Scrimshaw has got over that ankle issue and sees it to safety.
It proves us that Sam Mitchell does want to try and play 3 key forwards. Obviously, Gunston not playing tonight, so Sicily's the swing man and playing the Gunston role, and that's something to look forward to going ahead for the Hawthorn Football Club.
David King said in the pre-game he thought Sicily could be Hawthorn's best forward with a run of 6 to 8 weeks up there full time. Warple shins it forward only as far as Bodie Ewell, and hand passes to no one in particular. Goes to the man from Geelong, Warple. There is Sicily roaming far and wide off the instep, didn't time it straight to Rioli.
You see there where he wants to go. They want to come back through the middle. Joey said it right at three-quarter time. That's where Hawthorn were able to get a bit of time and space, which gave them more forward domination and dangerous options.
So kick to kick from Rioli and Collins. Now Rioli goes long to the congestion. Barris with the fist. Rail to the ground. Wits on hands and knees, got it out. Humphrey skies one. This won't be a mark. If anyone catches it, they wanted to stay away from it in the end. Hurried shot at goal. Swallow out of the congestion, on the ground and on the goal scorers list. As a result, the Gold Coast are back in front.
Just in the right spot there, David Swallow, who's come on as the sub for the Gold Coast Suns. Ned Boyle making way for him to come onto the ground. And when the game starts to open up like this and players start to get tired, it's the fundamentals of just turning up in the right spots at the right time. And David Swallow's done that here and had the impact that you want your sub to do. Your sub comes on the ground, and if you play them forward, you want them to kick goals, and he's done that pretty early on.
I like the role of Wits, not accepting that it had been tackled and to hold the ball in and get another stoppage and create a little bit more congestion. So to keep that ball alive, get it out, keep the flow of the play continuing. Shallow spool gave Swallow a chance to have a shot at goal.
So the Swans take back the lead. Humphrey having a run in the middle. Powerful character with a high ball inside 50. They're pressing again, the Suns. Falls to the back. King dangerous. Takes on Jaff. Just brushes him aside. Dips it out to Roses. Ducks and weaves.
It's got to be so careful if you're Tom Barras that you know that Ben King wants to get you out the back. You don't overcommit. And then all of a sudden he's dashing towards goal by himself.
Eamon down the spine. Newcomb and Eamon will get the flyby here. This time, actually to D'Ambrosio. Ignores Weddle. Ward Newcomb. A couple of options. Bypasses those. And then he's looking for Ginnivan. He's tried by Ewan, but the chop of the arm.
This is the way if they can to go forward pretty quickly. You've got even numbers ahead of the ball. Trust that your big key forwards will create a contest and make it predictable for the smalls.
So Ginnivan is a good long look down the ground. Reeves pats it to the captain. Couldn't quite pick it up. He does now. They thought they heard a whistle. The players.
That wasn't me, mate. It must have been the crowd.
So someone with a whistle in the crowd, and they've all been stunned as a result.
How many if that's going to happen?
So Witts won it down. McGuinness fighting forward with Collins.
Cannot do that right in front of the umpire. Let's see what Sam Collins was doing. He nearly did the signal what the umpire does in terms of how he tapped it out of bounds. It was a mirror image for that. The umpire was in a perfect position.
So Sicily tried to get the kick. The umpire wasn't buying any of it.
So James Warple, thanks to insufficient intent, gets a shot at goal. It's a good kick. Just grazes the post. So it's back to 3 points, and we've got a thriller on a Thursday night.
Both sides been fairly accurate tonight in front of goal from set shots.
Powell in front of the Morris Rioli stand. Too much on it to Daniel Rioli.
Yeah, it's a big mistake. 16 minutes to go. You need everything to go right. You just don't want to give the opposition a chance to go. Contest and back inside forward 50.
Reeves and Witts do battle. 150th game for the Suns for Witts tonight. Hawks through McGuinness has a fresh air. He goes back at ground level. Here's a ball to be won. D'Ambrosio. Rao punches it forward to Weddle. You want to pick it up and go, but good use of the body by Roses. Tackle applied. Here comes Anderson. Delays, waits, then sends it deep forward. One-on-one, big contest. Scrimshaw long whistle. Scrimshaw's free.
Is it Long's free?
Long's free.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pick a free out of that contest, because I think both players had some part of the jumper, and the umpire came in pointing really to the wing.
Yeah. I asked him it when Long dropped his head. I thought it was going the way of Scrimshaw. But chance for 2 in a row for the Suns and a third for Long.
There's no player here wanted to pick it up, but the class of the Gold Coast midfield, Rao to Anderson. Gee whiz.
Tough to split them. Doesn't matter though. Read the paper tomorrow, because Long has 3 and the Gold Coast kick it until the last turn and just stretch out again.
Yeah, I think especially from half back at the moment, Gold Coast are really struggling with their ball movement, so the kick mark game isn't really working. So that was more a chaos ball. Are able to be clean, as you said, with Rowell, and then it was about run and carry, making really good decisions. As we see there, their long season, he's had a terrific season. Damien Hardwick wasn't taking credit about the move forward. It just maybe through necessity played a few defensive roles, but then certainly in his own right. So it's probably the too high on Scrimshaw there with his left arm. But he's been a great contributor and having a really good season. Here we go.
So a real test, the medal of the Hawks now.
And more in the middle of the ground. McKenzie, Moore and Warpool, the 3 mids.
Through the legs of McKenzie. Eamon out to Jaff. With long ball towards centre half forward in the Sicily direction. Punched away by Hardwick. Hit hard by McAndrew. He was grabbed by Chol. Came out to Jeffrey with a little bit of space. He kept running back. He did indeed. McAndrew blazing down the wing. Kick towards half forward. No mark Scrimshaw. Coming through Roses. Line's going to beat them all. Walked out by Long.
Just sense that Matty Rowell's starting to rise to the occasion here. He's been involved in that last goal at the coalface, being clean at ground level at the front of the contest here. This is the moment in the corner for him, for the champion of the Gold Coast Suns to stand up, being warned very closely by James Warple.
Work on Gitterman. His lower back. Falls to space. McKenzie. McDonald. The Max combined. Into the middle. Ball to be won. Collins roaring through. Jeffrey gets his hands above the tackle. Back to McAndrew. Does beautifully. Pops it out in front of Noble. So the Hawks led by 3 at three-quarter time. After kicking 8 of 10, since then the Suns have kicked the only 2 of the term to lead it by 9 points. Up and under for Noble. Hawks in the air. Barris does well, holds up nicely. Taped up after some friendly fight and battle in the third term.
Yeah, certainly vision wouldn't be 100%.
Just to go back and hand the responsibility elsewhere to Weddle. Similar. Scrimshaw looked at the corridor, has to be precise. Got halfway through the kick and started to doubt himself, but did well. That's good from Ward. Now through the middle, all resulting in Scrimshaw's effort to take a bit on. Puts Collins in good position. Sicily good in the air, brings it to ground. Peels off, wants the handball from Moore, doesn't get out.
Gee, that was a risky kick. When you talk about moments in game, there's still 13 minutes to go. It's not really a kick you want to hit, because the damage can be done the other side. On that occasion, they got through.
Out it comes to Moore. Ferrets around, kick lock. Not long enough. Noble heard the call. Got on with it quickly. Ewan.
Outside 5. Outside 5.
Crowd officially of 12,314. Got their money's worth tonight. Powell disposes of Chol, but he can't get rid of McDonald. Advantage paid. So the Hawks press, kick towards centre half forward, not good enough for more. Hit hard by Hardwick, got the handball away. Humphrey, Closey, round the corner. Chol, play on was the call. Humphrey, like a battering ram, came through, got the handball out, trying to open up the Suns. They can't hold on to it though. Through the middle. Who wants it the most? Ward, out he goes to Newcomb. He's got a man further afield. McDonald, Newcomb, spreads it wide, looking for the wizard. Watson, left it behind. Grabbed by Collins. Over the top, Sicily. It came out to Morrison. Good. It's going to be a throw call.
That was a genuine throw, wasn't it?
Time back on.
Not even the wizard can make his magic on that one there.
It was like Newcomb in the first quarter. Genuine throw.
3 metres out.
Suns repel. High intensity. Fitness will come into play. Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, fitness, so fatigue. So this is where, as a player, you need to be really sharp in terms of your setups in and around the stoppage. You need to understand where the opposition spares are, if they've dropped one behind the ball, if they're not, what you need to do in that certain situation. So this is where it really challenges the leaders of the football club to get everything right.
And Sicily playing a role forward for the Hawks. Weddle, Holman taped up. Tough character. In the arms of Walter. Brass does well to keep his feet. The small men arrive on the scene. A couple of Suns pile in. Walton Barras, putting 200 kicks between them, balls across the line.
And on that fatigue, mate, that's why Hawthorn got there Monday. They got 2 days earlier up to Darwin, so they could try and get every little last ounce out of it.
Yeah, just to change it up a little bit. We understand the dominance of the Gold Coast Suns, so they're happy to spend a long period of time up there. So just adapt to the conditions. The little 1%ers that hopefully, attribute to a win.
Out it comes via Wicks. Ball still in dispute, Jack.
And events, the players fatiguing down there. Game starting to open up.
Yeah, it is. It's getting a bit heavy down here, guys. Players are getting fatigued. Tuke Miller's on the bench cramping. Joel Humphreys is grabbing his hamstring as well, so it's getting a bit heavy.
Ruling final 11 minutes. Holman taken by Newcomb.
I think the other thing in and around stoppages is what you've got to be aware of is both sides will want to try and pop out the front, so not necessarily overuse the ball inside stoppage, get the ball going forward outside of the ring of congestion.
Swallow taken to ground by Morrison. Humphrey hacked it out. Hot ball taken by McKenzie, trapped it well and kicked down the corridor. Wobbly one towards half forward, it's bouncing. Moore and Yulden meet it. Contact. Spills out. Rioli lost it. Grabbed by Hardwick. Near the boundary. It's going to be locked up.
He's well done by McKenzie. Great agility, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's good just to get the ball forward like that as well. It's in contest a lot at the moment is that there's even a kick that goes along the ground, scrubs out, puts pressure on the opposition running back to their own goal.
Down the ruck by Witts. To Close, he does well to get his hands above the tackle. Here they come again. The two half-backs combined. Rioli, Noble takes a couple of bounces. Newcomb keeps the chase up. Big fly on the flank. And it's Long who can pull them down.
That reminds you a bit of Richmond.
Yeah, a little bit. But also, coming out the front of the stoppage, and you put it on the agenda, is a lot of the times when you come out, you actually want to come out by hand. You don't want to be blasting the kick forward because a lot of sides will sit players behind the ball at a kick. So that handball exit, critically important to link up and start to get running.
Shallow thrown in the end. Whittle had to climb over Witch. Noble. Kick inside 50. Good battle here. Barras outpoints King.
I think he wore a boot for his troubles there. Tom Barras already been split up in once tonight, but he's been a wall back there against Ben King.
Will be a sore and wounded man tomorrow. Still 10.5 minutes to play out. Noble defusing that one.
John Noble came in with 15 in the pot for metres gained. He's over 900 metres gained tonight, John Noble. Could be on the way to 1,000.
He's also number 3 in the comp for assisted metres gained. So that is the ball that you give a player and then they're able to then take more ground. So it's a great combination. that he's got in his game at the moment.
915 metres for the former Pie. Loving life under Damien Hardwick.
We'll be on kilometre watch, Howie.
Josh Jarrett.
That is a lot of metres gained, and that's exactly what the Gold Coast Suns have got him there for.
10 and a bit on the clock, 9-point margin, only 2 goals for the turn. The Suns, they press again through Rao. Big moment, big fly from Long. Falls to the ground, Swallow. Roses will roll in front of his home crowd. The Suns get the opening free and they skip away.
We spoke about Matt Rao and his ability to lift in this last quarter. He's already had 6 disposals. He was the one to exit out of that contest. Gets the ball forward, and David Swallow's come on as a sub and just puts himself in the right place at the right time and makes the right decision here. Had the opportunity to potentially just jam one on the boot and have a rush shot, but knew Roses was there. Little pop handball, and a certain goal comes from a really crafty handball.
They're just finding space out the front of the stoppage, aren't they? The Gold Coast Suns, so they get the space out of the front of the stoppage. A really dangerous kick inside forward 50 to the top of the goal square. Predictable to your teammates. Look at Roses. He knows exactly where that ball is going. Gets himself to the front of the contest like every small forward, every good small forward would do. They get past the contest, stay involved.
His first goal of the year, 10th goal scorer for the Suns tonight. As Ward gets on with it through the middle, straight to Chol. They're looking for the quick response.
Yeah, go word to Ned Reeves there in that centre bounce. Sort of locked up in the contest, in the ruck contest, but had the ability just to get a fist onto the ball. Otherwise, the ball was going to drop down at the ruckman's toes again. Finds the left footer, which I think, Lou, is critically important because that kick inside 50 was excellent.
Back just straight up, please.
Nice little kick across the body. Chol presented. Huge kick.
So, Mabior, 8 disposals, he's kicked 1. Such an important kick, this one. And he slots it through to keep their hopes alive.
So a couple of those tonight, just the quick answer from either side when they've really needed it.
It was an important set of outs, wasn't it? And I think you're right, to not let the ball drop at the toes of the ruckman, to get it into a position where Hawthorn on this occasion could exit. And they're really difficult ones to defend. You see where Ward was running to the left-hand side of the oval, so that's where you anticipate as a defender, and that's the ability to hook it across your body to a forward that's leading. So this is the centre bounce, great tap. You see there all the defenders on the right-hand side. If you've got the ability to kick it across your body, you'll find forwards more open than not.
It's always left footers that are good at doing that too, I reckon. That knowing your teammates, and clearly Marby or Child knowing that Ward's a left footer.
Noble up to 911 metres. Number 1 for the season, beating Zorko's 836 back in round 3. So almost 10% clear and still going is Johnny Noble. As are the Hawks. Newcomb been powering ahead all day. Beautiful use again of McDonald. He wants to go. The small men come towards him now. He gets within target. Bit of an up and under. Probably wasted an opportunity there in 2 minds.
Himself, didn't he? Yep.
Another great kick though into McDonald off the half backline. Yeah, Newcomb. Same again, sort of sold the story as if he was going to kick it one direction and all of a sudden pulled the kick back inside again. Got into a really attacking position, but just couldn't make the most of having the ball at the top of 50.
So Powell gains 25 metres and then kicks to the hot spot. Punched away from Reeves. Rao. Fiorini. One-on-one here. Free kick. Jaff going back on Roses. He gets the free kick over the top to Long from 52. One-on-one in the goal square here. Big ball to win. Swallow couldn't win it. He might go off the ground. Wendell's absolutely desperate. Holman was trying to throw his boot at it.
Yeah.
Through for a behind.
Yeah, well done by Ward as well. Came down the open side of the ground just to provide a little bit of pressure going inside forward 50. It's important for the Gold Coast. Yeah, it's important for the Gold Coast to keep challenging.
Cracking game of Thursday night footy evolving. Weddle goes to the outer side. There's only one man to go to, and Will gets the free kick.
Seemed like that was a semi-set play. David Swallow was onto it.
They want to move it quickly here. The Hawks down the outer side. Jammed up in the middle. So they go to McDonald, the sub. Takes a bounce in a risky area. Does well in the end. They fell off him. Sends it deep forward. It works out brilliantly with a man who gave 50 D'Ambrosio. When he took the bounce, it looked risky, but he pulled it off.
That was the exuberance of youth there, Geordie.
You don't need to bounce it after 5 steps. You can have 15 and then have a bounce, and then the absolute mug inside forward 50. And the wingman from the fat side of the ground is Massimo D'Ambrosio, just floated in there nicely. Probably more of a defensive position, and the ball's fallen in his lap. This man here is a very nice left foot kick.
3 goals this season in game 50. Massimo D'Ambrosio to bring the Hawks back within 3 points on a hot night in Darwin. On the left, drifts out, hooks it, doesn't get the distance, the accuracy, and he misses.
Yeah, so when I say about Gold Coast keep challenging, it's more with ball in hand and try and keep speed on the game. You don't have to be risky inside the corridor, but you just need forward momentum and a little bit of speed on the game.
So Jeffrey, skies one. No mark taken from Walter. Felder, Warple, clever little tap. Ward tried to get it to the advantage of McGuinness. They work together here. SUNS all over the place. McGuinness off the ground. Cholwist in the right spot. Sicily met it hard. Came out to Noble and then threw Holman under the bus. He's grabbed in a tackle.
You can just see the work rate from all players at the moment trying to get onto the ground level. Just Hawthorn are trying to keep it alive. The SUNS are just trying to shut it down.
Ginnivan tries to go through, gets one high. Holman drops his head, and Jack will line up.
He's had a couple of really important moments, Ned Reeves.
He's been good, mate.
Yeah, so you see that we saw the connection in the centre bounce before with Ward, and you see the connection here with Jack Ginnivan and the Holman free kick for too high.
A couple of missed opportunities for the Hawks in the last 3 minutes. Ginnivan's kick one, had plenty of the footy tonight. Only the slightest of angles. This is what Ginnivan's paid for from 35. He is worth every cent. He's got 2, and it tightens up again in the top end.
Yeah, well, we're set for another cracking finish here. Thursday night footy. We saw an absolute corker here last week between the Gold Coast SUNS and the Western Bulldogs, and we're being treated again in the first game of Sir Doug Nicholls' round. Jack Ginnivan, he's the master of drawing a free kick, and you can see Holman. He knew straight away that he'd given away the free kick, Nick Holman, that Ginnivan had sucked him in, sort of sat back a little bit and then leant forward and drew that free kick here at this stoppage. It was Ned Reeves again. Yeah. Look, you've mentioned him, but I'm loving his ruck work, but even getting down the line and being an aerial target for Hawthorn as well. And Ginnivan, as he said, Mark Howard, he is paid to kick goals and he kicks truly.
21 disposals tonight for Jack Ginnivan, 2 goals, 1. Moore takes it to ground. In the end, it came out to the Gold Coast and a kick inside 50. Holman, that man again, and Walter. Holman gives it to Miller. This would be big. This would be huge. What a time for his second goal, the 200th man.
I reckon he kicked 9 out of 20 from that spot. He's so reliable, Duke Miller. So this is the change in his game. He's been able to be involved in the centre bounce as a true midfielder and then to go forward and impact the scoreboard. So we see there at the top of the screen, centre half forward on Amon. So he's trying to stop his run and carry out a half back. And he looks sore. He looks like he's either cramping or injured. It just gets himself in a position where he's be able to be used. Holman was the player that gave him the ball.
So important when you're that. So important when you're that half forward as well, and you're tracking a really dangerous player up into the contest, is that you remain on the back of that player the whole time and don't get too ball focused, because you know that your damage is going to be done towards goal. So sucker them in and then get them on the counter punch.
Big clearance coming up, 4 goals to 2 for the Tomb. The way of the SUNS. Anderson, that's the way the game started. Humphrey will play on out the front. Low, piercing ball. Here they come. Walter, there's a whistle. There's a second whistle. Holding.
We'll
goes to Hawthorn.
Weddle gets the free.
He's had a few, I mean, this is a free kick, but Walter's had a few chances, hasn't he, tonight? Just hasn't been able to grab the ball.
It's an aggressive exit ball. Roses, Jaff, nice contest. Well done, step through traffic.
Yeah, I think that the thing is that the Gold Coast Suns are able to get out the front of the stoppage again.
Thank you.
So that particular area right now for Hawthorn is high alert.
Suns by 20 at quarter time, 14 at half time. Hawks by 3 at the final break. The Suns lead it by 8.
Wouldn't mind seeing a proactive half-back. You can see like Carl Amon's the one to come and stand. Maybe at that quarterback, just sit off and protect that part of the ground.
Drums from Morrison, just throws it on the boot. No mark, Joel, Collins, Rioli, span around. That was class. And Rowell, he beats his opponent, got the handball away. Anderson floats one inside 50. Mark taken by Long.
Rowell to Anderson again. Matt Rowell stood up. He's had 4 score involvements already in this quarter. This could be his 5th. 8 disposals, just driving like the raging bull he is. And gets it in the right spot. Noah Anderson's been clean all night. This man's becoming a very, very important piece to what is becoming a very, very good puzzle for Damien Hardwick.
He's looking for his 4th goal tonight. He's kicked 18 so far this year after kicking 26 last year. Long makes absolutely no mistake. And the Hawks are on the ropes, less than 4 to go.
Yeah, it was a forward played in front, but the work was done further up the field. I love the work from Dan Rioli to break the lines, cause a little bit of chaos.
It was a spin.
Yeah. So to go back in the opposite direction. And then you're right, just the brutality of Matt Rowell to not accept being tackled. Find the ball over to Anderson, quick kick forward.
He started the game that way, Louis Rowell. He's like, you are not tackling.
No.
We described him similar to what we're seeing from Dangerfield.
I mean, that's the way, you're right, that he plays the game in its entirety. But I think he also understands the moment and knows that they need to score, and a stoppage isn't good enough for him.
So the Hawks need to go. They need the last 3. Anderson, 20-metre hand pass forward. Grabbing it is McDonald. And he lost his head and his mullet in one go.
So I think if you're talking from a Hawthorn point of view now, they don't want stoppages. So they'll be trying as much as they can to get it on the outside, whereas the Gold Coast will be trying to keep it in congestion as much as they can.
Reeves, Anderson, possession number 34. Nova's had 35 and 932 metres. Here they come looking for the knockout blow. Long's got 4. Can you get a handful? Hawks under all sorts of pressure, throwing bodies into the brown and gold. Out now, Jaff, important exit ball. Spirals it right to the middle in Darwin. Contest, McAndrew. Joel Collins tracks back. Sicily will grab him as soon as he gets the footy. Pushes it forward. The Hawks with Watson kick free in the first half. Sicily used the body. Great pick up. Joel steps. Joel for something special. Marvio Joel to keep the Hawks alive.
A bit of brilliance there from Marvio Joel. How good was the one-handed pickup? I'll tell you what, James Sicily, credit to James Sicily that he just kept pushing the ball forward, whether it was on the ground. You can see here, that's a critical hit there. And then just the swell, thank you very much. And a lovely finish by Marvio Joel.
How cool is he?
He is so cool, so cool. I think Sicily's working right here, just to get involved in that contest, nonchalant from the big Cholly. And this is a similar situation to where the Gold Coast Suns found themselves last week against the Western Bulldogs. 3 minutes to go, they were a couple of goals up, and all of a sudden the Bulldogs went whack whack. Here's the first one from the Hawks.
So another twist to the tail on what's been a terrific night. Anderson's kick was smothered. Rowell couldn't win it. Warple dropped it. Anderson grabbed it. Newcomb all over him. It'll be a ball up.
Similar scores to last week, Jack, as well. Very similar.
Witz wins it down. Gets another chance. Bit scrappy. Reeves off the ground. Who can win it out here? It's the Gold Coast. And the kick from Anderson. Inside 50. Long. Did it well. Got some clearance. Then Holman's kick at home was dropped in the goal square by McDonald. But he had composure, the young man, and backed himself as well. The mullets working together as Weddle and McDonald blaze outside. Defensive 50. And the kick to Ward. Into the middle they go. So Hawthorn building, trailing by 8. And they know the urgency now. Long, high ball inside 50. Hewlett with the fist. It wasn't effective enough. Watson from the boundary. Centering kick. But Gold Coast had the numbers. And it's shut off by Closey.
I thought James Sicily might have had someone trailing down the far wing there. Went the long kick, but
the Gold Coast have got the back at the moment.
Players out on their feet. Humid night. Tough for footy. It's been an outstanding game. The Suns through Roses. Little skimmer. Miller picks it up. Scrimshaw gets his man in game 200. Does well. Big contest. Aim on. Lethal left boot. Just sends it long. Deep. Hawks outside. Comes down to Moore. Rioli goes back the other way. Watson goes low looking for the high. Didn't come his way. Humphrey breaks the tackle. Rioli in front of Morris. Rioli stand. Puts it out of space and works out to Long.
Couple of St Mary's boys linking up.
He's got 4. The Suns looking to ice the game in Darwin. Gets away from King. Still alive. Aim on. Under a minute on the clock. Needs to get rid of it. The Hawks need to kick 2. Spirals it forward. Straight to Closey. He immediately plays on. Unusual decision to Witts. Now Noble.
Noble along the near side wing. Plenty of time. Tired footballers out there. Kick to half forward. Over the head of Swallow. Coming through was Ainsworth. It's going to be a free kick, and it's going, holding the ball to Weddle
in the middle of the ground.
So Weddle's kick has to be aggressive. Down the spine it is. McAndrew couldn't quite. Ginnivan pressured him. Last stages with 20 seconds to go. Spat out wide to Humphrey. Morrison pressuring him. Rioli couldn't quite pick it up. Ginnivan's got it now. He was taken high, but it's going to be too little, too late.
Time's going to get away from the Hawks. Cracking game of Thursday night footy. Warple, short. Siren sounds. The Suns, 8 times they've gone to Darwin. 8 times they've got the points. Classic Thursday night footy, Gold Coast by
8. Great call, lads. It was intense that last 2 minutes. I'm not too sure who it was that tackled Nick Watson, but it was a brilliant tackle. To not get him high when he was searching for the high free kick, I think that would have changed maybe the outcome of the game. So to know who the player was, to perform the tackle under that type of pressure, fantastic work.
Been treated for an absolute belter again up in Darwin. It is a very, very happy hunting ground for the Gold Coast Suns. You can see they are absolutely wrapped with their 2-week jaunt up to the Northern Territory, and they come home with 8 points, and it's they are proving to be a really big contender in season 2025.
They move to 7-2, and the Hawks go 7-3. You're right, eerily similar numbers last week in terms of the final score. Hawthorn the same as the Dogs. Gold Coast only 2 points less, but they had some big moments late, I reckon, the Gold Coast. And I think that would please Damien Hardwick in terms of the evolution of a side. When they come up against another good opposition, big moments come in the fourth term, and they're able to stand up.
Sean Burgoyne is out on the ground. Shawnee.
Well, I'm with the man at the moment, Mr. 200 game. How does that feel?
Yeah, unbelievable, mate. It's funny, you get up for those games as much as you can and you prepare as much as you can and try to be normal, but I've got to give credit to the boys. We played our system the whole game. They came at us a few times But yeah, I feel like our grit and chemistry just got us over the line and it was epic.
Just talk about that last 5 minutes. Everyone's gassed. You're gassed. There's players cramping. Hawthorn are coming, but you pull through and you get a real good culture defining the win.
Absolutely. I mean, we knew these 2 games against the Doggies and Hawks are going to be big. We know we play well here, but that doesn't mean we get guaranteed a win, guaranteed 4 points. Hawthorn, to their credit, are an excellent side, and I felt like they brought it to us. That we just played good footy tonight, and glad to be on the right side of it.
Yourself and Witzy have been really inspirational leaders to this club for many years. Now you've got Rowell and Anderson and co. Just talk us through how proud you must be watching them develop.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can list off our whole entire team. I'm so proud of where they're at the moment. Everyone seems to understand their role. Everyone's buying into this culture and building this identity. So I'm hoping that everyone at home, including yourself, are starting to see that, and we're building a bit of an identity for our footy club.
And 8 straight here, this is a fortress for you, isn't it?
It's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It definitely means we've got to come back here and keep playing. So, we love it here. I mean, our record speaks for itself, and I'm proud of the boys tonight.
Congratulations on the win, mate, and congratulations on 200 games.
Well, we talked about John Noble. Here's the big reveal.
Give us the number, Harry.
He was the number 1 after he passed Dane Zorko. He was approaching 1,000.
Has he?
Oh! Johnny Noble. There's got to be
1,001.
Well, Spud used to give the golden fist. We need to give something to someone.
Everyone want to go past Dane Zorko as well.
Or something. We head back out on the ground.
Just down here with Ben Long, the man in the moment, at home to kick the seal on that. How good is this?
Yeah. Bloody awesome feeling. Credit to the boys. It was a tough game in the end, but we held on strong, and like I said before, credit to the boys who did a really good job. I know Hawks are a very good team, and they're going very well, and good performance by the club.
At 3/4 time, all the players, they went into the cool room there, just the players only. What was said? Obviously, Hawthorn came back in. They were in front going into the last quarter. Who spoke in that meeting?
Yeah, Noz really took the charge in that. To be honest, when we went in, we knew Hawks came. We were actually embracing it, and we were actually in the small, we were having a laugh sort of thing. So we love being in this moments, and to be honest, when it comes, hopefully, pushing for finals, being in those tight situations, it's going to help us in long and further down the games, more to come. Sorry.
Yeah. Anything Jed can do, Ben can do better. We saw Jed take a big mark just over here, and then you just come flying. Warwick Cavalite, mate. Just went for it and just held it.
Yeah, Banger, I guess, lobbed it up for me, and I just took my moment, and don't take many, but I'll take that.
What's been a turnaround? Obviously, you're playing some great footy. You're taking the competition by storm. What's been the change?
Yeah, I guess second year under Dimmer, and I think, to be honest, boys are really buying in. We've got a really good midfield group, and our work rate's really going strong in our game, and we're just going to keep building confidence and taking it further down the season.
So all the players are going home tonight. You're staying up with family, fishing over the next couple of days.
Yeah, definitely. So pretty lucky to be playing up here, and we don't play until next Sunday, so I have a couple of days, spend it with my family, so I don't get to see them much. So it's really a special time coming up here in Darwin.
Well, it's been a special round, Serdar Nichols round. You guys open it up, and your performance tonight, mate, was unbelievable. So congrats, man.
Thank you.
You're watching Thursday Night Footy on Fox, brought to you by the new Ranger plug-in hybrid. An 8-point win for the Gold Coast Suns. Their 8th trip to Darwin in a row where they've claimed victory. They're now second on the ladder, as you see a Hawks Premiership superstar, Cyril Rioli, watching on and enjoying what was a pretty good game of football. Jason Dunsell, David King and Joey Montagna. Gosh, there's a lot to like about the Gold Coast Suns at the moment.
There is. You get to 100 points, you normally win the game. They were able to do that. It's a very similar scoreline to last week when they beat the Bulldogs. And it was really interesting because it came down to the dying moments. And we were watching the game, and Joey said, "No, this is a different Suns team. They don't lose these games." Whereas in years gone by, they would have found a way to lose out. The opposition might have been good enough to get over the line. But they fought when they needed it. There were players. Tuke Miller kicked that goal when they desperately needed one. Ben Long did everything he did up forward. They just found ways, and they had players that would jump in and get it done when they needed it done.
Yeah, and they had to do it a different way. I mean, we spoke about them dominating the first quarter and a half of this game. Then Hawthorn had all the momentum, and at 3/4 time, they did have the run of it. But Gold Coast found a way again. They were able to dominate again at clearance and kick the first couple of goals of the quarter, and then found a way to hang on. And I mean, this guy, Ben Long, I mean, he epitomises this team right now. His ability to just fight and win contests and provide some work in that forward half. I mean, again, he's been instrumental, and I think it was a really even team performance, again, by Gold Coast, but what he's doing is incredible.
It's amazing the new lease of life you can get sometimes under a new coach, King.
Yeah, it's a good call. And Damien Hardwick didn't play him when he first came.
Yeah.
He didn't see what he necessarily had since he's come to that forward line. They've just got a competitor. I mean, you look inside the forward 50, he leads all comers tonight for contested ball wins inside the arc. He's had 6 tonight. You win a contest in your forward 50, you're generally getting a score. And that was the gap in the game. We'll go through the highlights later. In the fourth quarter, they just broke them in the forward 50. Dominance all night with the clearance game. When you look at the clearances plus 15, Jakes, you would have thought the Suns would have won by more.
Yeah.
But Hawthorn, to their credit, they were admirable. I mean, they've gone down by 8 points, but I thought there's a lot to like about the way they played a few stars short tonight.
So they've got St Kilda at Marvel next week, Fremantle over in Perth, and Geelong in Geelong. So some tricky games coming up, but at the minute there's no team that seems to be out of their depth. I mean, they're just really professional at the moment in a way that Damien Hardwick must be so happy with.
Yeah, that's right. They're growing by the week. So once they are learning more and more about their system, learning more about their teammates and where they need to be, what they need to be doing in games, particularly late in games, they're trusting one another. And I think they can trust most of their players that if they need to win a contest, they can, whether it's behind the ball. Again, the defenders were sensational. King just mentioned ahead of the ball. And the midfield we know about. We've spoken so much about them, and they are going to go to the wire every single week. So they don't rely on any one individual anymore. They can spread the load, and they just keep finding ways.
I think when you look at the numbers, it's a classic shootout sort of style game, isn't it? Neither coach will be happy with the game itself. They'll be happy with the competition and the contest. 59 inside 50s each. They're huge numbers. I just think Damien Hardwick could say, look, it's not really the way I want to play when I've got this sort of dominance. Can we lock the ball more in our forward half and just take the foot off the pedal for the defenders? But they won the crunch contest that mattered.
It mightn't have been the game that he wanted, but you kind of have to go with it. Once you get in front and you're hanging on to a lead, you've got to sit there and say, well, this is what's got us here. Yeah. It's hard to change it up then.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what more you can say about Noah Anderson and Matt Rowell as a combo.
Yeah.
Geez,
they're good,
aren't they? Good to watch. I mean, they've had 21 clearances between the two of them, and in the end, that's the gap in the game.
Love Tuke Miller in his 200th. And he gave us what we knew he'd give us in his 200th game. It's what he's done for 199 games before that. He's the honesty in his performance is extreme. And the number of clearances he was involved in early and the ability to hit the scoreboard, he can play whatever role you want him to play.
See there, the clearance, those three, the big three there.
Yep.
That's almost 30 clearances between them.
Just sign now. Just sign now, Matty Rowell. Just be done with it.
You're right.
I just think it could give this club a real big lift. The sooner he signs, the better. They've really made significant inroads, haven't they? And why would you want to leave this?
He mightn't want to leave, King. He just wants the dollars to be right.
Oh, they're right, don't worry.
And he's
they're
entitled for the dollars to be right.
The offer's there. I don't think the dollars are changing massively, but this is great to see. One of the warriors of this football club.
Who was there when they were going like bastards?
Yeah.
When no one gave them any love, when they were getting flogged week in, week out. There was one man that you knew would put his hand up and give that great performance every week and set the example. And now it's great to see him getting a little bit of reward for all the hard yards that he put in early. He gets to enjoy some fruits of the labour.
And he was the reason in that first quarter why they got off to a flyer. He had 7 touches, 3 of those become scores, which was the most on the ground. So he set this victory up.
Such a consistent performer over a long, long time and an important leader. And you imagine when Damien Hardwick arrived at the Suns, Joey, he would have targeted him as a player that he could build this group around spiritually, but also obviously out on the ground.
Yeah, you can't help but smile just to see now, as Jason said, all the hard yards and the teams that he's been through that have been pretty ordinary teams and some poor standards and culture. And he's been the one that's strived. He just hasn't had enough people really come with him over the years. And now, he now gets to really start to enjoy it and soak it in and maybe just start to sniff what finals footy's actually going to feel like, because this group is good enough. We've seen it now all season long. They're just going to continue the way that they are going, not get ahead of themselves. And if that's the case, there's no doubt they'll be playing in September this year.
Full club. I mean, have a look at this. Everyone's there. These are the special ones, Chase.
Something to think about for all the future teams that are travelling to Darwin too, because they are just building something special up there.
some of the crucial quarter 4 moments, because the Hawks led by 3 points at the final change and they had some momentum, and it was the composure of the Suns to win some of those big moments, Jace, that proved pivotal.
It was, and there were plenty of free kicks paid tonight, and I think there were 8 or 9 goals kicked from free kicks, half a dozen of them for the Hawks. So they were pivotal moments, and we know some of the small forwards are very good at getting those, but they just had the answers, and there's that goal we spoke about. How critical was that? Tuke Miller, when they needed it off one step, turns and kicks, and his teammates are all over him. They love it.
No doubt it'll be a talking point. Hawks 6 goals, 1 from free kicks. Is it a skill? Are the umpires falling for some faking? Who cares? They paid the free kick. Most of them are there. Joey will just say that. But I just thought it was a great contest. You've got to get your tackles right. This goal here. It's
pretty good.
Awesome.
Just keep them with a glimmer of hope, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
They never stopped trying, did they, the Hawks? Like, they kept coming, and credit to them, they have left some senior players at home, and certainly the way the game started, we all thought, gee whiz, Gold Coast by how far, but they found a way. As I said, it wasn't necessarily in the clearance, but they were certainly able to outnumber in general play around those ground balls and behind the footy and in front of the ball, and give themselves a chance to play with a bit more flair after quarter time, where they were very safe early. It was very wide and a lot of kick mark, but once they took the game on a little bit more, that was more like Hawthorn, and they did give themselves a shot. But as we said, this Gold Coast team now just finding a ways to get the wins.
Would you rather play the Suns in Darwin or on the Gold Coast, Jace? When your fixture comes out.
On the Gold Coast, please.
It's imposing now, isn't it? That is quite the record, 8 in a row. Let's talk about the skipper, Noah Anderson, 35 disposals, 1 goal. And Jace, you picked up on this at the centre bounce, particularly late in the game. He was just able to find space, and it was so pivotal late.
Must have been giggling to himself at some of the centre bounces, because he just 6 centre bounce clearances, and some of the times he was standing all on his own, and Big Mitchie just tap it to him and away he'd go. And I mean, some of their dominance from centre bounce was special, but again, this guy's growing as a leader. He puts his body in. He's not afraid to mix it up if he has to. He gets the ball inside, he gets it outside, and he brings his teammates into play. There's another one of those centre bounce clearances that led directly to a goal. And I mean, he does a lot of smart things. He's a clever player, and he's just getting better. He's going to continue to get better, I think.
The club have set him up for success too, Joey, making him the captain at the right time when he was absolutely ready to go to this level.
Yeah, and he's still got Tuke Miller and Jared Witts there that he can lean on. He's not sort of doing it alone. And I love the balance of his game, Jason, the inside and outside. He knows when he can win the footy on the inside. He's also a guy that can get the ball in transition. His decision-making between handballing and kicking as well is getting better, and he's leading from the front. He's been sensational all year long.
So from the captain to the former captain, Kingy, we're going to have a look at Tuke Miller. I mean, we've celebrated him and his milestone, but his impact on the game today.
Yeah, and we often miss what this guy does or where he starts his runs, and I just think it's important to recognise what he brings and how it impacts those around him. Often you just see the handball receive, or you see the young contestant mark on the wing, and you say, oh yeah, that's solid play, that's nice. But he breaks hearts. I mean, this is early when he's there to set the game up, and his work at clearance was terrific. This is the handball we showed earlier, threading it through a hole, and they're out the front again. Here, shoulders out, uses his speed, but it's more the around-the-ground stuff that I fall in love with. His ability to link up, be that corridor aggressive runner. We know about his ball use. These sorts of runs here, off clearance, that are the gap in the game. Most players don't bring. They don't possess that sort of power or that sort of will and desire to work coast to coast.
And we showed some of his accolades pre-game, went to celebrate his milestone, and he's been AFL Coach Association Player of the Year, multiple All-Australian. But right now, you can argue he's almost in career best form. I mean, he's one of only 4 players this year to average 25 disposals and a goal a game. And again today, 22 and 2. There's only a couple of players that do that a year for the whole season. He's on track for that. It's phenomenal what he's doing offensively.
So here's what we're talking about. So he's at the stoppage. He's left the screen there. You can see him highlighted. That's his man, Newcomb, right next to him. He just breaks his heart. He says, you just can't go like I can go. You can't come with me. He half feigns running into the umpire because he knows it's over. And then you get quality on the end of that, because it puts you into clear air. Stoppage. Are you going to come with me? Are you going to come all the way? Because I'm going 100 metres across the ground and we're coming out by hand. Now, you know you're gone. Mackenzie is in a world of pain because there he is charging forward side of the centre circle, deep entry, put the opposition under pressure, and a score result. So this is what we're talking about. You get one guy prepared to do this, and it breaks down the opposition, and it destroys their will and want to run.
And we're showing ones there where he actually gets on the end of it. There's plenty of those times where he runs and he doesn't get the ball, but he still works hard and provides opportunities.
So forward 50 wins for the Gold Coast Kingy was where the game was won and lost.
Yeah, last quarter, I mean, you have to get really specific. I know that you normally lose contests in your forward 50 because the Hawk defenders have numbers, or it's easier to spoil than it is to mark, or it's easier to win with numbers than it is, you know, 1 out, 1v3, 1v2. But they just won contest in the last quarter. In the end, it was +3, 8v5. It doesn't sound like a lot, but they won 5 of the first 6 that went in, and they all hit the scoreboard. Like we keep saying, you win contest in this area of the ground, it's going to be at least a point, probably a goal. Free kicks are part of that, and obviously contested marks. This here, the sort of zigzag run to get it to a one-on-one, to put them under pressure, draws a free kick. So the first 3 quarters, there's 31-18 in favour of the Hawks, so -13. Last quarter, it's +3. That's the game. That's the game. They broke them in the end, and I know there was 59 inside 50, so you can mount a case that it was just sheer numbers. But just here, just in sync, Swallow ready to crumb, long brilliant to ground again. He was outstanding long. It's just simple stuff, Joey and Jace, but you win contest then. So that's what they pay the big bucks for the forwards.
It is, but that's why I love the evolution of Ben Long into the role that he's playing down there now, because he has the competitive juices of anyone else in the game. He hates losing any contest, and he's learned to control that aggression, and he directs it at the ball, and it's been a fantastic find. And Dimmer might have been a little bit slow finding him in that role, but now it works for him. It's a trump card.
And I think in some ways it worked having the 2 rucks, because it meant Jed Walter and Ben King could just stay as forwards, particularly Jed Walter, and not go into the ruck and be exhausted. So maybe they just had a little bit more juice left in the tank late to compete, bring the ball to ground. Sometimes in the past, particularly Ben King, may have lost contests, but they were able to neutralise and allow the smalls to get to work. Swallow got involved, and then of course Long and Holman as well as a contest winner.
All right, we are going to head now into the rooms where John Noble has been good enough to join us on Fox Footy. John, I'm surprised that you've got the energy to chat to us. 1,001 metres gained tonight. In the heat, in the humidity, how are you feeling?
I think the adrenaline's still going at the moment. It was an incredible game. It was an arm wrestle, and to be a part of Took's 200th and to see, the club and the history and everything that he's gone through. The boys dug deep, and I'm so proud of the boys for that. So, unbelievable win.
John, congratulations. A very similar scoreline to last week. Back-to-back wins over good teams in the Bulldogs and now the Hawks. Tell us the toll that it actually takes on the players playing up there.
Yeah, it's a different environment. We're obviously used to similar conditions, obviously being up on the coast, but the humidity and I guess the air up here is quite suffocating. But it's been an amazing week. We train up here. We don't do too much, obviously, with the 5-day break, but it does take a toll. We've got to be really diligent with our recovery. Our main sessions are a little bit lower, obviously, with what we can do. But we've got cool rooms, and our medical staff are absolutely unbelievable with their diligence with our recovery. So it takes its toll, but I think for the most part, these boys, they're definitely used to it.
How many kilos do you expect to have lost during tonight's game?
Yeah, well, it definitely ranges from player to player. We've got a hydration sort of system that we've got in place to sort of buffer our body weight so we don't cut into it straight away. But anywhere from 2 kilos to 5 or 6. Everybody's sweat glands are different, but you can't really get around losing about 2-3 kilos. So we've got to replenish it, obviously.
You think I should play a few games up there?
I know what you're saying. You and I had the same ideas.
I think we'll go as a package. But tell us about the instruction the coach gives you, because I love the fact that he allows yourself and Daniel to just freewheel off halfback and be so creative. New club, new mindset, new philosophy. How's he approach that with you?
Yeah, Dimmer's been amazing, and all the supporting, assistant coaches, Drummo for our backs coaches. It's really awesome with letting us play to our strengths as a team. That doesn't just stay with our rebounding backs or midfield group. we're really strong in our defensive system and we can just play off the back of that. Most of the times when we get that defensive structure in our defensive system going really well, we can really just use our strengths off that. We've got a lot of weapons in this team, particularly down back, a lot of versatility. And when our mids get to the contest and win it for us, it's, I think we're playing a really exciting brand at the moment that our supporters would be proud of.
Can you talk us a bit more about this defensive system and just the group that you have, what the conversations are like out on the field in regards to what you're trying to achieve, who's driving that in the back line and those conversations to be able to have the both balance between offence and defence?
Yeah, I think our defensive system is more of a 6v6, not a 1v1. We've got a really strong, supportive group that we don't want to be left on an island. I think we support ourselves really well with that, coming around and talk about our swoosh patterns, being able to support players further up the ground, and we can sort of roll around and support each other that way. And then, like I said, off the back of that, we can attack. Drummo's been amazing with getting us, set up. Last year when Zimmer came in, it was stepping stones with getting that structure right, but having another pre-season under our belts and getting to work on that's really allowed us to play our way, and it's a bit more autonomous out there for us. We don't have to think too much. Colo's an unbelievable leader in his own right. Massive communicator. Powell's coming into his leadership as well. It's awesome to see him a part of our leadership group. So, like I said, we've got so many leaders in our team. It's hard not to be in the right spot when you've got people like that around you that put you in the right position.
Johnny, you were at Collingwood in a premiership year, so you know what it takes. And can you draw any similarities between what's growing in the group at Gold Coast, perhaps, and what you believe that you had at Collingwood in that premiership year?
Oh, absolutely. I think in my footy career, particularly at Collingwood, there was a couple of times I had a really strong gut feeling. It's hard to explain. 2023 was obviously one of those times where everything seemed to be connecting, everyone was on the same page, and your belief was just through the roof each week. Felt like you could beat anyone, and I've had that a couple of times here at the club in a short time, once in pre-season, and since coming up here, those last 2 wins for us has been absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of the group. They've come such a long way in such a short time, and I've obviously only been at the club for a short period, but to feel so involved and to have a group that's just got so much belief is really awesome.
John, awesome game from you tonight and the entire team. Best of luck with the trip back home, and rest up and recover. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That was an excellent question, Jace. I'm sure lots of Suns fans will be interested in the fact that someone that's coming from a big professional club like Collingwood that went on to win a flag, and that John Noble can see some similarities in the program.
But you can see it in the players, the confidence in each other and the belief in the system that they are employing under Damien Hardwick. It's starting to return wins, and you just know it's heading in that direction.
I just think this is full club, though. It's not just Damien. I mean, you look at their recruiting model over the last few years. They've targeted certain types. And Ben Long a few years ago, you've got the 2 half-backs this year, and they paid a bit for them. Everyone was saying, okay, are they overspending for what they're getting? But it all fits in the Damien Hardwick model. I mean, their high draft picks didn't play tonight. Their guns from last year's
the
draft.
academy picks.
Leo Lombard's not there, and the 3 of the 4, only Walters was one of those top 4 that played tonight. So there's so much more to come back into this team. I just think they've done a great job as a club.
Brilliant. Well, speaking of Walters, he is part of our KFC FLG moments. We saw 2 ripping marks tonight. Jed Walters in Q1 on Sicily.
They both have something in common, Sarah, don't they?
Yeah, they do. A common denominator. Poor James. That was a seriously good mark.
That was nice athleticism, and this was really acrobatic to keep your balance, keep your eye on the footy, and still be able to come down with it. Look at that. That's spectacular as well.
You could almost see the queue of players saying, it's my turn next. Poor old James Sicily had to stand under 2
of the best marks of the year, unfortunately for James, taken on his back. Let's talk about him for a moment, because he is struggling to capture his best form.
Well, it hasn't been a great year for him, Joe. I know you've been keeping a close eye on him, but he's not the same confident player that we see, certainly with ball in hand. He's not taking the marks that we've seen him take over the journey, and they've shifted him forward to try and get him involved. Where do you see him at the moment?
Yeah, it's just one of the stories of the year. So you can see there tonight, again, his just body language doesn't look to be what you need from a leader. He's really down on confidence. We mentioned pre-game that he's turned the ball over in the back half more than any other player in the competition for one of the best kicks in the competition. It's just bizarre. And again tonight, it was just, there was some drop marks, there were some fumbles, and, you know, these were again a couple of his disposals early, just, you know, almost careless coming out of your back 50 where you know the Gold Coast Suns are going to be sweating on anything that's, you know, coming in dirty in their forward half, and he was able to, you know, not be able to keep the ball in there a couple of times. And, you know, we saw this moment and some other little fumbles late in the game. And even forward, he didn't have that desired effect. We've seen him in the past go forward, be the match winner. Just hasn't looked the same. So, yeah.
So what do you do with him?
I don't know. I don't know how you can get his confidence going again.
You get him out of the back line.
Yeah.
I just think he's sadly out of form as a defender.
Could he play on a wing for a week or something?
He did a couple of things up forward. He was involved in that last goal. Look, I just think that he needs a reset of sorts. And you're not going to give him a week off. He's too good a player for that sort of thing. You're probably not looking to give him an out. The coach just wants him to be better. So you challenge the player first. But I think they've already done that. I think they've already challenged him 2 or 3 times to improve his kicking, his decision-making. Maybe he's biting off too much.
Do you give him an opponent? Find a dangerous opponent and say, I want you to play on this player. I just want you to beat him.
Can he do
Don't
that?
worry about the other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, he's done that, but he still gets the ball, and that's the problem when he's getting ball in hand. Again, 15 disposals, a few of them were kick-ins, but 5 turnovers once again.
Get him to full forward, Sarah. See if he can kick 4 or 5 in a given
Playing
game.
out of the square. As Jay said before, they've got quite a tricky month ahead. So Brisbane, Collingwood, the Bulldogs and Adelaide, who are right up there with the absolute best in the competition at the moment. So they need Sicily firing if they're going to claim some wins there. We're going to head into the newsroom now. John Ralph has the latest. Ralphie, we saw...
All right, folks, there we go. Full time, the Suns. Of course, they kicked the first goal of that last quarter. That's what we were saying. Well, the first goal scorer win the game. That's exactly what happened. It was the Suns 16-8, 104, defeating the Hawks 15-6, 96. It was the Suns by 8 points. It was a fantastic last quarter. 5 goals to the Suns put on in that final term. The Hawks, 3 goals, 3. Tell you what, it was a game anyone could have won. Of course, our poll tonight, 66% went for the Gold Coast Suns. And they got it right. There we go. Let's just have a little bit of a recap of the goal scorers and disposal getters before we head off on them. We'll show you the ladder and where that has put now the Gold Coast Suns on the ladder. Ben Long, top of the table with 4 goals out there for the Gold Coast. Took Miller, 200th. He got 2 with Ben King and Ben Ainsworth, David Swallow, Malcolm Roses, Bailey Humphrey, Sam Flanders, Sam Closey, all with singles with Noah Anderson for the Gold Coast. Of course, for the Hawks, Nick Watson, Blake Hardwick, Mo Chol got 3, Jack Ginnivan got 2, John Newcomb, Harry Morrison, Dylan Moore, and Carl Lamont ended up with singles. Of course, John Noble, what a game. 1,001 metres gained he got tonight. That's an incredible number. 36 touches. It's probably got to be a record for him. 36 touches in the game, 3 clearances, 27 kicks. Fantastic. Noah Anderson, tell you what, possibly best on ground with 35. 16 kicks, 19 handballs, 1 mark, 5 tackles, 12 clearances and a goal. There we go. Carl Lamont, the best for the Hawks on 30. 3 clearances and a goal. They were the only 3 in the top 30. Let me just roll down that and you can check. Jack Ginnivan, not too bad there this evening on 22. 2 goals, 1. Not too bad. Let's keep on rolling down. Dylan Moore was 17 there. Jared Witts, the big man, 15 touches, 41 hit-outs, 6 clearances. Nice job always putting in there, the big man, Jared Witts. James Sicily, well, he had... As I was saying, he's a little bit out of confidence. He's usually a dominating backman. They trot him back up forward. Just the 15 touches. No score for him. Nick Watson, the Wizard, just 12. He was nowhere to really be seen in that final term. 12 touches. 9 kicks. He kicked 3 goals though. And of course, Massimo D'Ambrosio, the other milestone for the Hawks, just the 12 touches. And there are your player stats, team stats. Let's just roll through these. What's that? 19 disposals. There we go. 19 the Suns got up by in the overall. 59 inside 50s for both teams. Fantastic effort. It's a lot of inside 50s. Of course, the Suns do generally go pretty high. That is smack on their season average. Free kicks, 19-23. Hawks ended up with they're better of that. The hit out, so the Suns on top there by 17. Clearances plus 15, plus 9 in centre clearances. So the Suns dominated the clearances in all over the ground. 31-25 stoppage clearances. Contested possessions, pretty similar. Uncontested, there we go. It was, what's that, 20-30 to the Suns. I just need to put a bit more pressure on the marks. All similar. 7-10 marks inside 50, as I said. Not a great deal. They were both inside 50, 59 times. So they'll be looking to do a little bit better than that. Of course, the tackle count, not too bad. 67, above average for the Suns. And the Hawks just about on average. Tackles inside 50 on average. Let me just roll this over, folks, and we'll show you where they are on the ladder. With that win tonight, Hawthorn stay in 4th position. So I think they dropped. Now they are in 4th position. They dropped on 28 points, just a half a game off at top. There's still teams to play in this round. So Hawthorn are in 4th position. The Gold Coast Suns, however, they move up the ladder, folks. They move up the ladder. They actually dropped 3%. I think they dropped 3.1% in this game. They're down to 132, but the vital factor is they've played 9. They've won 7, up to 28 points, 2nd on the ladder. Well, Gold Coast, tell you what, they are travelling well. They say they beat the Western Bulldogs up there, and then they've beaten the Hawks. Tell you what, I like it. She's pretty humid and warm up there. And just what the Gold Coast like. They're pretty, tell you what, they've played up there 7 or 8 times and they've won every time. Tell you what, you wouldn't want to be the team travelling up that way to play the Gold Coast Suns, but that's where they sit. And don't forget, hey, folks, don't forget, if you're a Gold Coast Suns supporter, you still have 1 game in hand to play. You still got an extra game to play. Because you and Essendon still have to play that extra game somewhere throughout the season. If you remember back to, I think it was round 1, opening round or round 1, where Essendon Gold Coast couldn't play due to the cyclone up there in Queensland. So Gold Coast actually looking pretty good at the moment. Played 9. And of course, after this round, everyone will play 10 apart from the Gold Coast 9. So they're looking pretty good, the Gold Coast there. But that is the ladder. Let me have a look at, don't forget, tomorrow night we've got Sydney taking on Carlton, 7:40 p.m. Melbourne time at the SCG. That should be an absolute fantastic. That's going to be Friday night football. That's coming up next. And of course, Saturday all kicks off with Collingwood taking on Adelaide at the MCG. All right, let's just have a little bit of a quick glance at next week's round, the Gold Coast Suns and Hawthorn. Next week for the Hawks, well, they're back playing at home at the MCG. That is next Saturday, twilight game, 4:15 p.m. They're taking on the league ladders, the Brisbane Lions. That's who they play next week. And, of course, the Gold Coast Suns, they've got to travel back down to Melbourne. They're going to go and play at Marvel Stadium, and they're going to play St Kilda. St Kilda's been in pretty good form as well, so that should be a fantastic game. Don't forget, we have got some cracking games coming up this weekend. So you want to absolutely stick around. I'll be doing, don't forget, folks, I'll be doing tomorrow night's game, Sydney Carlton. Then I'll be doing Saturday's game, Collingwood and Adelaide. That's the only game I'll be covering on Saturday. And then, of course, we've got some games on Sunday, which should be an absolutely fantastic games. But another fantastic game. I tell you what a way to kick off round 10 here with a close game. 8-point victors to the Suns this evening. Just want to say thanks, everyone, for coming on in. I think that's about all I've got for this game for tonight. Thanks, Paul. Take care over there in the magical land of Thailand. JJ, thanks for coming on in. Of course, HKE, good to see you again. Of course, Eddie G, Ryan, Taddy. Don't forget, thanks, Ryan, for the super chat. My super chatter for this evening. Appreciate that. Octoberian Channel, Teenage Bem Bem, Game Day, a game board. Santa All Game Board. There we go, good stuff. Jane Fitzgerald came on in to say hello. Tiva Coles, and of course, Addy G. 2 years membership. Thanks for the membership, Addy G. Adrian Sports and Karaoke Channel. Thanks, brother. All right, folks, that's all I got for this game. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow night. Don't forget, what time's the kick-off? 7:40 p.m. Melbourne time. Sydney taking on Carlton. Should be an absolutely fantastic game that you don't want to miss. All right, folks. Until then, I'm signing out. Ciao for now. And we'll see you at the next game.